Hello everybody and welcome to the United Stand. It is Manchester United versus Partizan Belgrade in the Europa League, and I'm getting tired of this Manchester United setup. I really am. What I want is a bit of positivity, and I'm not happy with that team there. I don't really know what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is doing as Manchester United manager. We've got so many issues with fitness, and we've got so many issues with injuries, and we are now playing most of our I said at the weekend that is 3 games in 6 days. And we're now going to go for 5 games in just over 10. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. I can't believe Maguire and Wan-Bissaka are playing. I can't believe McTominay and Fred and Rashford are playing. I can't believe how strong he's gone in this team. This is the Europa League at home. They're bloody farmers. They're farmers. They brought the cows with them and they're mooing. This is not acceptable to play a team like this. I'm very happy to see Greenwood playing. But where's James Garner? Where's Brandon Williams? I know Brandon Williams will probably play on Sunday, but what are we doing? Play him tonight in an easier game to give him some consistency form to go into a harder game on Sunday. I just don't get what he's doing. He's running scared. I mean, we're going to win tonight. We were going to win tonight with Garner and Williams and Chong. I would have played Chong. Chong's not even on the bench. Chong was brilliant this week for the under-23s. He's not even in the bench. He wants to win cups and Europa as top 4 is gone, says Bustin Up. But we're top of the group, mate. We're top of the group. This is where I disagree with you on that one. Thanks for the contribution, but this is where I disagree with you on that one, because in the summer he said these lads were ready. In February he gave Phil Jones a 5-year contract. Phil Jones has been on the bench for the last 4 games. If he can't play against Partizan Belgrade, why did we give him a 5-year contract? You're playing Harry Maguire again. Why is Harry Maguire playing? Fucking hell, just play Phil Jones. And I'm sorry to swear so early on, but why? I don't like Phil Jones. He's crap. But you gave him a 5-year contract. Why is Harry Maguire playing tonight? Play Phil Jones and give Harry Maguire a rest. Why is Rashford playing again? Is it in his contract that he's got to play every single minute possible, even when his bloody fitness levels are down to 70%? There's no need to play Rashford tonight. It's just ridiculous. Ridiculous. And the thing is, though, in relation to the result, it's not going to make any difference to the result. We will win. But we would have won anyway if we'd rested some players. It's just overkill. It's really overkill as far as I'm concerned. And you know what? Arsenal fans are Emery out, but you look at Emery when he went to Liverpool in the Carabao Cup. He played a load of youth. He plays his youth. We don't do it. Mason Greenwood's playing off the right wing today. Yabba dabba do. I just do not get why he's playing so many first team players. It just doesn't make any sense to me. I don't get it. Fred and McTominay were knackered against Bournemouth, so we'll play him on Thursday so they can be knackered against Brighton. It doesn't. He even said himself, and Ollie isn't helping himself. A lot of people are saying that. Lee Tui's as negative as per. Mate, look, Lee, with all due respect, you're very close. I nearly told you to do one in a swear word way then. Don't tell me I can't have an opinion. I am not the United Stand. I am Mark Goldbridge, and I have an opinion as a fan. So if you don't like it, there's plenty of other fan outlets to go and watch. But I'm not going to not say it how I think it is. We are a mid-table club. We are failing from top to bloody bottom, and I'm fed up of it. It's exhausting. I am finding it very, very tiring supporting Manchester United at the moment. And people will say, well, fuck off and support somebody else then. That's not what real support is. That's not what real support is. And I tell you what's not real support. Win, lose or draw, let's stay positive. I tell you what, why didn't you just give the Glazers your pin to your bank account then? Because that's all they want. It's not negative to say we're in a bloody mess and to be shouting about it. It's actually constructive. It's actually being a real fan. The situation we are in is a bloody joke. And I'm fed up of seeing Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Ed Woodward and the players waltzing in with their we go again bullshit. This is not good enough. You're moaning about his use. The thing is though, I don't forget. I'm like a bloody elephant. I don't forget. I remember what's been said in every bloody press conference. And I remember a couple of weeks ago, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was using injuries as an excuse. I don't think injuries are an excuse, but I'll tell you what, they're not a bloody excuse when you're the one causing the injuries. You played Pogba for 90 minutes against Rochdale with an injury, and now we haven't had him playing for 2 months. you know, Rashford, Wan-Bissaka, Maguire, Fred, McTominay, if they get injured, they're going to get injured because you played them 4 games in a row when you don't bloody need to. So stop shouting about injuries being an excuse when you're playing everybody every bloody minute. It's basic naive management, and it's really annoying. It's really annoying. And what's annoying more than anything is, my real frustration is that James Garner should be bloody playing today. He should be starting the game. If you can't start him at home against Farmers at Old Trafford when we've basically got the league, bloody Europa League tied up, I mean, what does he think's going to happen? Partizan Belgrade are going to rock up to Old Trafford and beat us. I've never seen such shit in all my life. They were disgracefully bad against us in Belgrade. It's just we were awful. But come on, at Old Trafford, you could get me and a United stand 11 to beat Partizan Belgrade at Old Trafford because it's Old Trafford. You know, I'm just disappointed. I'm disappointed yet again that the Europa League, just like, who are we? We're like bloody Stoke. We're playing the same 11 nearly every game. Why are we doing it? And maybe I am going overboard. But I just don't understand why he's playing for so many first team players every bloody game. 5-year contract to Phil Jones and he won't start him, and he's playing Harry Maguire every breath he's got. It's like a bloody Sting song, or Puff Daddy if you're a little bit more modern. Every breath you take, I'll be there watching you. Well, Ollie's got a different one. Every breath you take, I'll be playing you. You know, it's mad. It's mad, and I wouldn't mind it, but we've got so many injuries, and I wouldn't mind it. But against Bournemouth, he basically admitted they ran out of steam. He said himself it was 1 game too far. We ran out of steam. It's not 1 game too bloody far if you give them a rest. I'm worried about Brighton now because Brighton have not played all week. They're a well-organised team, and basically our midfield is having to play Thursday and Saturday. This is just basic management. Fred and McTominay were knackered in the second half against Bournemouth, right? Give them a rest give them a week off. No, don't give them a week off. Play them against Farmers at Old Trafford so they're knackered for the Brighton game. It's just baffling. It's baffling. But you know what? I'm starting to come down. I'm calming down a little bit now. In honesty, if I try and retract my personal frustration, because that's what it is, and I apologise if people don't agree, because I have to look at the other side, and I'm starting to calm down a little bit now. He's running, you know, when I try and think of a justification, he's running scared, isn't he? He's running scared. He's terrified. He knows if he was to lose tonight, you know, he's basically covering his arse. Let's be honest, isn't he? He's playing a really strong team to absolutely ensure he wins the game. But he's not taking it. You know, himself has said, "Oh, we need to start taking risks." But he won't take a risk with his team. He's not taking a risk with his starting 11, is he? So, you know, kickoff is at 8 o'clock. Make sure you smash a like on the video, please. Let's see if we can get 1,000 likes while we're live, and let's get some of yours. The student chef says, Mark, injuries are the problem. Exactly, so why is he playing so many people? Is this going to be another wasted evening waiting for the inevitable loss, or at best a draw, says Louis What, with that team? You're having a laugh. That's our strongest team, basically. Like, we're not going to... I'm frustrated for 2 reasons, really. One, because we're playing too many players regularly. I think Wan-Bissaka needs a rest. He looked knackered against Bournemouth, and you're going to play him another 2 games. Maguire needs a rest. Rashford needs a rest. McTominay and Fred need a rest, and they're playing again. So that irritates me because... And then the second thing that irritates me is I was looking forward to seeing Garner start. I even thought Ethan Laird might start. I wanted to see Chong start, and I think they can start in a game like this. They started against Astana and we won 1-0. I mean, with regards to the bench, just to give you an idea of what is on the bench, it's a very strong... He's gone with a very strong bench as well. It's like, oh, if this lot are failing, I've got... His bench is Grant, Jones, Williams, Andreas Pereira, James Garner, Dan James and Jesse Lingard. There's no Chong on there. It's just... I'm baffled by it. I really am. I'm really irritated. I really am. I wasn't irritated before I came on, but I'm just really irritated by it. It's overkill. It's not necessarily to go with a team as strong as that. And I think I said it in the preview as well, so maybe this is adding to my frustration. I said it in the preview. This is a gimme. This game is a freebie. The fans are pissed off. Brighton's the biggest game. We've got to beat Brighton. This is a game to give something back to the fans. This is a game to get the fans excited. This is a game to play Garner, to play Williams, and get us excited. And, you know, give us a bit of relief, a bit of entertainment. And what does he do? He goes and picks a really experienced team. And I think, you know what? I am going to say I think we'll probably win 3 or 4-0 because the team we've picked is just way too good for the opposition. So maybe he's looking at confidence, but at what price will that confidence be? Tiredness. It's a risk. It's a risk. Think of the benefit of scoring 5 goals today with the strong team. This will be a boost of positivity for us, says William Dessou, which is exactly what I've just said. I think, that's what he's looking to do maybe. Leaf Hunter says, I swear to God, we better play attacking football and win 7-0. If this is a 1-0 grinding win, Ollie has lost the plot. Well, I put this on the Twitter account today, and it's definitely something we're going to be keeping an eye on during the watch along. Let's look at Manchester United. It's called Tactic Watch. I'm going to start this, and we're going to start doing this a little bit more. It's called Tactic Watch, and basically, let's look at how many times Manchester United on the ball play the ball forward quickly. I think for too long, everyone just says we don't create enough chances. Let's have a look tonight. If 1, we create enough chances, why we create enough chances, or if 2, if we don't create enough chances, why. And I'm telling you now, tactically, watch how quickly Manchester United move the ball forward compared to sideways. Let's watch that. Gordon Murray says, love Ollie, but he's a very amateurish manager. Squad rotation is a basic principle to a manager, no matter how fit your squad is. The sad thing is, Gordon Murray, is that we have got a squad big enough to give people a rest. But he's acting, maybe he's doing it on purpose, he's acting like we haven't, and we definitely have. If we lose today, I reckon Ollie is gone. That's why he's picked that team, says Ace. Yeah, but he isn't gone. He'll definitely be manager for Brighton, no matter what. Thanks for the contribution, Addy HS. Also, let's have a look. Does United not have any youth academy? Well, apparently we do. Movement Mark, says Paul Robinson. And I don't know what that means. And rest in peace, Garner. Such a shame a bright talent is getting wasted on the bench. This was absolutely... This is absolutely stunning. If you can't play Garner in a game like this, then you can't really ever play him. It's weird. It's weird. But as I said before, I mean, Ollie... I said this about Ollie last year. He always talks about youth, but when does he actually pick it, really? I know we've seen Greenwood and we've seen Williams and we've seen Garner and we've seen Chong and we've seen Gomez, but picking youth is consistent. You pick them regularly because you trust them. Look at what Emery's done with Saka at Arsenal. He's played regularly. He played in the Premier League away from home against us at Old Trafford and he picked him. When has Ollie done that against decent opposition in the Premier League or even half decent Premier League? He won't play them. He talks about it, but he won't play them. There are big parallels between Solskjaer and Mourinho, and some would say Mourinho played more youth. Jared Wessel says, is he not trying to create some team dynamics in game, a game like this where there is no pressure? Maybe, Jared, you may be right, but my big frustration is that we talk about our youth. We see Chelsea playing theirs. We see Liverpool playing theirs. We see Arsenal playing theirs, and we have a prime example of a prime opportunity to play them. You think when we get to the latter stages of the Europa League, you ain't going to play them then because it's going to be we're going to be playing our strongest team in Europe. So this was a prime example where he could have played them tonight and he's not done it. But I'll repeat it again. My biggest frustration is he said against Bournemouth, and we all saw it, we faded in the second half. It was 1 game too many, 3 games in 6 days. Well, it shouldn't have been 1 game too many. It's because he kept picking the same players 3 times in 6 days. What's he done again? We know we're playing on Sunday lunchtime. This is basically 2.5 days we've got a game at home against Brighton, who've had the whole week off, and he's picked half our first team again. And he's picked our first team midfield. Where are games won and lost in the midfield? McTominay and Fred played shit against Bournemouth. They faded terribly, and he's played them both tonight. I'm stunned by that one more than anything. I think playing Wan-Bissaka was stupid. I think playing Harry Maguire was really stupid when you've given Phil Jones a 5-year contract and he's sat on his arse on the bench. But what the biggest one of the night is definitely playing Fred and McTominay. I don't understand why you would do that because they're our first choice midfield at the moment. Why would you do that? Does Ollie know how to rotate the squad? Says Purple Patrick TV TY24. He's like me on FIFA 20. When I'm playing FIFA 20, I never change my team. You get to March, you're playing twice a week, and your team's absolutely dead, stamina-wise, picking up injuries all over the place. Ollie's like a FIFA 20 manager who never changes his team, and fitness drops and injuries incur. Mark, it would be sad if you stopped the United stand, says Box. I think some people would rejoice, to be honest. Jordan Such, forget today and Sunday. What condition are these players going to be in come March and April time if I played every game? 100% agree. Mark, he's running scared, and Jordan's hit the nail on the head there. Thanks, Jordan. I was just saying that. it isn't even now that's the problem. These players are going to be dead on their feet come January. They will be. And look at the situation with Harry Maguire and Marcus Rashford. They played last Sunday against Norwich. They played last Wednesday against Chelsea. They played last Saturday against Bournemouth. They're playing this Thursday against Partizan Belgrade. They'll play this Sunday against Brighton. They'll play twice for England. They'll come back. They'll play Saturday. When do they get their break? Like I don't remember the last time Marcus Rashford had a break. It's ridiculous. He talks about his age as an excuse for why he doesn't play well, but then he plays him every single minute. Bearded Monkey says, not a fan, but it just looks like he's scared to lose, so he's playing his first teamers in every game because he knows he's under pressure from the fans, even though the board have given their backing. I think you're right, Bearded Monkey, and we've got a part to play in that. Look, I'll hold my hands up and say we have got a part to play in that. But the sad thing about that is, if he's picking his best team because he's scared to lose, United fans are not like that. We're not like that. In the main, we're very forgiving, we're very forward thinking, and we love our club. And I think tonight, if he'd played Chong and he'd played Garner and he'd played Williams and he'd rested some of those players for Sunday and we'd lost, I think we would go, it was the right thing to do. But doing this tonight, I don't really understand what the win is tonight, because if we beat them tonight 6-0, so what? They're awful. They're absolutely awful, that opposition. So it can only be the confidence, but does the confidence you get from a big win get balanced out by the fact that the players are going to be tired on Sunday? And what if we don't get a big win? What if we scrape a 1-0 and we're terrible? Confidence drops and they're tired. So it's risky. It's risky. Lee Dunsmore says you're full of bull. Yeah, but you don't actually explain why, Lee. So, I'm the winner there. And also, the FA Cup starts in January. That is another competition Rashford will play in every game. If Ollie's trying not to lose, he's doing a poor job of it, says Giorgio B. And are we that bad that we have to play our best team tonight, says Sally Devil Red 7. I don't really understand it, but, we're going to have to go with it. Ollie is just too much of a safety merchant, needs to go, says Freddie Mercury. And I agree with Freddie on that because, when you look at Manchester United throughout this season, we're way too risk-averse. We're way too defensive. In the way we play, we're trying not to concede all the time. We're not trying to score goals. And his team selection tonight is very reservist as well. It's like, I don't want to lose this game, so I'm going to pick all my first-team players. And what's he going to do on Sunday? Because we're not going to have the energy levels. Are we going to, because look at that's a good thing to do. Look at who's going to come into the team on Sunday. Who starts on Sunday? Who's not starting tonight? So Lindelof's injured. Let's not forget, Lindelof is injured. So he's probably playing his first choice centre backs. He's playing his first choice right back. He's playing his first choice left back, but he can't play because he's suspended. So De Gea will come in. Brandon Williams will come in because Ashley Young is injured. Rojo and Maguire will be the centre-backs because Lindelof's injured. So, goalkeeper Brandon Williams, Mata will probably get dropped, and Dan James will come in for Greenwood. So, there's only going to be 4 changes to that team on Sunday, and one of them's a goalkeeper, and one of them's because of a suspension. So, really, there's only 2 changes. Mata and Greenwood will come out for Dan James and Pereira or Lingard. Apart from that, that's our first team tonight. 2 changes, really. It's crazy. It's crazy. I think it's crazy. Paul Robinson says, like the video if you think the lineup is too strong. Depressing being a United supporter, says Carol Schwartz. I mean, I'll never be depressed being a United fan, but I just... They're putting us through the ringer all the time, aren't they? They are putting us through the ringer. But, at least they can go out and win 5 or 6-0 tonight. But it's looking good. I actually want to I think it's really important that we interact and have a chat. So I do want to try and see if we can get Drawty on as well. Shian Sundar Singh says, Mark, I feel this is nothing to do with getting the confidence back. It's just saving ass. It's 12:50 a.m. in India and I'm tired with this already. Thanks for that contribution from Shian Sundar Singh. Remember, you can make a super chat contribution by clicking the $sign at the bottom of the live comments, or you can become a member by clicking the member club. Then you'll get a little badge next to your name and you can use our little emojis as well, which, to be honest, are not getting much use, are they? Because we've been so poor. But my score prediction doesn't change. I've got to be absolutely honest and say I'm disappointed that Garner's not starting, because I think in a game like this he would have shone. And maybe Ollie's doing that on purpose. Maybe he doesn't want Garner to play and shine, because then there'll be pressure for him to pick Garner and he doesn't want to do it. I don't know. I don't actually understand, if I'm absolutely honest with you. I don't understand why he's not doing it, but it is what it is. Drawty, can you hear me?
I can. Can you hear me?
I can. You're very, very, very clear. Lots of people upset about the team news. Not me. I was really calm when it came through. But what's your thoughts on the team tonight? It's a strong team, and many young players will go in the summer, says Colin Rooms. No, not really any youth apart from Greenwood starting.
If that was you, calm, I'd hate to see you angry. But honestly, that team for me, that screams of we just need to win at all costs, which is a weird one because we've done quite well in Europa in terms of the results. So I'm kind of thinking, and I'm just playing devil's advocate here, we played terribly in the last Europa game. I know we won 1-0, but it was awful, wasn't it? Everyone said the performance was dire. So maybe this
these
tonight
or against
is
Astana, because they were both... Well, every Europa League game's been bad, actually, hasn't it? We just haven't conceded.
So maybe tonight is just a case of, because we lost the last league game, the players need some confidence, because psychologically going into the weekend's game, if United were to get another bad performance tonight, it doesn't exactly breathe confidence going into a league game, which really you have to win.
Yeah.
So I would imagine he's put out his strongest team to try and get some momentum for that. Now, I know you're saying people are being overplayed, but at the moment, we desperately need to win and we need a good performance, because at the moment, nothing's clicking. So I kind of feel this is an effort by Ollie to try and get some sort of performance out of these guys.
Yeah, well, there you go. You got the devil's advocate there. I mean, Jay Halal makes a good point. He says, well, what happens to Ollie if we lose to Brighton now? I think it's a very, what's the word? A very safety first approach to pick your first team against the team as bad as Partizan Belgrade. But the bad thing is, as I said before, the two things that can go wrong: one, we don't beat them 4 or 5-0, which we should do tonight, and confidence will drop then, because it will be like, fans will be like, you can't even beat these farmers with our best team. So I think one, he's got to win a lot. And Mark, you're going to eat your words on winning 5-0, says Kevin Boateng. Well, I think we have to. When he picks a team as strong as that, it's basically our best midfield, and it's 2 of our best attackers. It's our best centre-backs. It's our best right-back. So it's pretty much our strongest team in many ways. And if we don't beat them 4 or 5-0, I think confidence will drop. I think there'll be a lot of moaning. And then if we don't beat Brighton, people aren't stupid. They'll go, well, this is because we're not a fresh team again. Welcome to Jalal, the latest member of the United Star Members Club. So there is by being safety first, because I agree with you, I think he's picked a strong team so that they can win and get a bit of momentum. If that doesn't happen, it could backfire badly.
I think it's a calculated risk. The thing is, with that team tonight, I think bare minimum is 3-0. Anything less than that, there's going to be a few questions. Yes, you probably get away with a 2-0. A 1-0 really isn't convincing. That's not really going to help anyone, especially confidence-wise. But I think tonight is going to have to be a statement. I think he's probably going to say, go out there tonight and just do whatever, because I think they're just going to have to attack tonight. It's almost like a free hit in some ways, that he can experiment and just say to the players, let loose. Because even if we lose the game, he's not going to lose his job, is he?
No.
Especially not after, it's not like in the Europa, we're not in danger of qualifying for the next round. So for me, I'm expecting bare minimum 3-0.
And the thing is, look, I protected Martial for the Bournemouth game because I didn't think he got any service. In this game tonight, if he's not getting any service, we've got something really wrong with us. I mean, everybody, I've said this before, but when we're doing the player ratings after the game, everybody should be on a 7 or an 8, because the opposition, I think Rochdale are better than Partizan Belgrade. So everybody should be having a good game. We should be creating a lot of chances. And if we do beat them 5-0, I think that's the sort of minimum from this game. It's TJ says, this is a disgrace, so much for youth being ready. And Matt Brown says, Wally gonna Solskjaer, actually. I don't know about that. I don't agree with calling him a Wally, but I know it's only a joke. Dylan Sup says, Ollie needs to win at all costs. He needs a morale. Oh, we've read that one, I think. Yeah, we did that. We did do that one. Norwegian League Tactics says Biggie Smalls. He is going to say Just go out there and do whatever. I think that is Ollie's team talk every single game, says Apathetic Gamer. And are you not disappointed, though? I mean, there's a lot of people saying this. Are you not disappointed that... I mean, look, Brandon Williams will probably play on Sunday, so I would leave that one out. But are you not disappointed that Phil Jones isn't starting? I know you're a big fan. I'm only joking. The funny thing is, though, he has picked our best choice centre-backs because Lindelof's injured, so Rojo and Maguire will play at the weekend. So I think he should have played Jones. But the big one for me is James Garner. I mean, this was the perfect game to play him, and he's not done it.
Yeah, but Maguire was a little bit shaky against Bournemouth, and I think he needs... I think confidence is key in all footballers, and sometimes, yes, you can overplay players, but I don't really have a problem with him starting this team tonight because Saturday, I mean, it was so bad in terms of the second half performance that really these guys need to go back out there and actually try to get a really good result tonight. Now, if all of a sudden tonight it clicks and it's 3-0, brilliant. Like you said with Brandon Williams, we know that Young's suspended for the Brighton game, so Williams is more than likely to start, you would hope. So, you can understand that one. But in terms of the rest, he hasn't really had many options to go with anything else tonight. Yes, he could have gone with Philip Jones. Yes, he could have, maybe changed it around a little bit. But at the end of the day, like I said, you need momentum in football, and at the moment we just cannot get any momentum, and we have to beat Brighton. So you lose tonight or you have a crap performance, you're not taking anything into the Brighton game. So to be honest with you, I don't blame Ollie. He has to play this team tonight because they have to perform.
I disagree, but you expect that. I disagree. Strong starting 11 because top four is dead. Europa for the Champions League, says Nicholas Dominguez. I disagree with that one as well. I'm just going to read some super chats. Jordan Such, this building confidence thing is a load of crap. Beat Norwich 3-1. Didn't take any confidence from that going into Bournemouth. Avishek Chatterjee says, we would have understood if Europa was in jeopardy, but why not just risk this match with youngsters? Rest main guys and start again the weekend fresh. And DO Force says, Greenwood should play number 10. Shown great vision and passing and finishing. Don't know why doesn't anyone else suggest this? I'm looking for... I mean, Greenwood's the big positive tonight. But just going back to a couple of those comments and Drawties as well. Somebody saying that we're picking our strongest team because Europa is the priority. I mean, we're top of the group, basically. We're already top of the group. And we've got 2 home games to come. And our away game is Astana. So we're going to qualify from that group. It's done. We don't need to pick our strongest team to win tonight. And... what's he going to do in Astana? Is he going to play the kids in Astana? I don't think so. So I disagree with that. I think that it's way too cautious going with your strongest team in a game like this. And I think sadly, unfortunately, there is too many mixed messages coming out of Manchester United. I saw an article today, quote, absolutely ripping the arse out of Woodward and Solskjaer with quotes that they've actually said. Like 6 months ago, they're saying one thing and then they're saying something else totally different now. And this is the thing. I think United lacks leadership from top to bottom that it creates such a divided fan base. And it's not necessarily the fans' fault because you get mixed messages like these youngsters are ready. I'm letting Lukaku and Sanchez go because Chong and Gomez and Greenwood and everyone, they're ready. These boys are ready to play now. But then he doesn't play them. And what you were saying, Drawty, about he hasn't really got any other options. Well, Phil Jones got a 5-year contract. Why is he not playing tonight? He's been on the bench the last couple of games. He could have played and Maguire could have had a rest. Ashley Young could have played at right back and Williams could have played at left back. Give Wan-Bissaka a rest. He bloody needs one. In the midfield, Garner could have played and Fred or McTominay could have had a rest. Rashford could have had a rest and Chong could have started. So I've just rested 3 or 4 players. I agree, 1 or 2 would have had to start. I think Martial was going to have to start and McTominay or Fred were going to have to start. But he didn't need to start as many. I'll come back to you on that because Red Baron says in 5 years our massive rivalry will be against Newcastle again, just like the 90s. The good old days, we'll be both fighting for survival. Josh Jordan Stephan says even if we score a load of goals tonight, it doesn't guarantee that it carries over to the league. Spurs have battered teams in the Champions League and still been poor. Rudy Cox says Rance is right. Ollie has no clue and he is a liar. He talks about youth and doesn't play them. Sack him now. Ollie out. Harsh or fair? And Jens K1102. In the beginning, Ollie was chewing gum like Sir Alex. When he stopped chewing, United stopped winning games. Have you also noticed that? I haven't. Everybody send a job lot of Wrigley's up to Old Trafford tomorrow and get him back chewing But I mean, what's your thoughts on some of those comments, Strawty? There was quite a range there, to be fair.
There was quite a range. I mean, I also noticed in the live comments a few people saying, "I'm Ollie out. Why am I supporting him?" First of all, I'm not Ollie out.
Welcome to the world of being Ollie out.
We've had this conversation many times. So you can support someone but still not think they're the best manager for the job. It's like the trouble is with Ollie, he's a legend. And you want him to succeed, but I don't personally think he's got the acumen to turn it around. I don't think he's a top level manager personally. But that doesn't mean I don't want him to succeed, because he's just someone who gets the club. Sometimes, blind allegiance isn't a good thing, because you can get things horribly, horribly wrong and keep supporting failure purely because you like someone. But sometimes the heart does rule the head. But I mean, you said many times yourself, you're not Ollie out, but you can equally question him, can't you?
Oh yeah. I don't think people understand that. I'm not Ollie out for a lot of reasons, but I find him infuriating at the moment, and I think I find him infuriating because I actually care. If I didn't care about him, I'd just be like, get rid of him. But because I do care about him, because I know he's a fan, I just think I think he's too much of a fan, to be honest with you. I think he's a bit of a cheerleader. I don't think he's hard enough. I really don't draw it in. Everybody else, I don't. I mean, just had this sent to me on Twitter from Norbert, and he says that this is in the programme notes because he's at the game. He says, this is Solskjaer, a quote: "There have been some real signs of encouragement since we last played at Old Trafford. We were on the front foot against Liverpool. At Norwich, we were a joy to watch going forward." I think he's forgotten that we played 3 other games in between that time as well. But, he admits it himself. He's Mr. Half Full. That's what he does. And he is Mr. Positive.
But it hasn't worked with the other managers.
Sorry, go on.
It didn't work with the other managers. I mean, it was this day last year we beat Juventus with Jose.
Yeah.
And a year on, we are playing Partizan Belgrade with our strongest 11 in the Europa League. And it's just, I mean, this manager compared to the previous 3 that we've had, Moyes, LVG, Mourinho, I don't think either of those 3 managers particularly impressed with their style of football and seem to rub fans up the wrong way. And I think at the moment, I can see in the live comments there's a lot of people saying either Ollie out or Ollie in. Some people saying deluded. You have to see that Ollie can't do the job.
But
the trouble is with Ollie, but I think with Ollie,
different opinions, which is great. I think that's great.
Yeah, no, I don't have an issue with that at all. And I get why some people are like, but how can you criticize him and not be out? Because you clearly don't think he's up to the job. It's because he actually has a history and an affinity with Manchester United that the other 3 just didn't have.
Also, you'd have to be a bloody idiot. You'd have to be an absolute idiot to be happy with the situation. Even if you're Ollie's biggest fan, you've got to sit there and say, this is not acceptable. We're Manchester United and we're mid-table. Only an idiot would think that's okay. If you're Ollie in, you've by definition to be Ollie in, you've got to be critical because the situation isn't good enough. United Till I Die says shout out. I'm like bloody Gary Lineker. Shout out to the mods and Mark, respect. Yeah, shout out to all the mods. And High Elf Legolas, I like the name, but I don't think I'm going to like your comment. He says, Mark, stop leading the Ollie out brigade and Unitas. You see, I'm not Ollie out. I'm bored of saying this. And Red Baron, but who do you care more about, Ollie or Manchester United? You see, it's a good point, Red Baron. It's obviously Manchester United. Bryce Jones, Mark, you are the only thing getting me through this tough time with United. Would you prefer a striker or a CM? I'd prefer bloody both, mate. And Ezra for PM says, is this the same Ollie that sat in the press conference after Everton last season? What's happened to our manager? It's such a shame it's falling apart. And I think that's a great point, Rorty. And there's something I want to talk about, which is the contrast between Mourinho a year ago and Ollie now. But that's a great point. And could Ollie be testing offensive tactics, is Ashley GR. Well, if he is testing offensive tactics, it's about bloody time, because he's not done it before. But seriously, Ollie, I think one of the big things that irritates me about Ollie is that he's not the man he was last season. I remember that Everton game where we got beat 4-0 and he came out very bullish and said, some of these players will not be here next season, but I will be. I'm going to be a success. And it was very close to that 3 months where he'd been very good. And we were like, yeah, get rid of them. They're shit. Go on, Ollie. And then this season, he is like, the Asda version of Mourinho, in my mind. We play defensive football. He isn't that man last year. He seems to have lost that confidence, because all he ever talks about is the future. Whereas last season, I think he was more. I don't know what's happened to him over the summer. Maybe he's just become. It's a hard job. I agree that people keep saying change the manager. I think Brendan Rodgers comes into this job and sinks. I think this job is virtually impossible because of what's going on above him. We're run like a bloody bank.
There's something going on in the background. We can all say Ollie's saying all these things in press conferences. Why has he changed his tune? I can guarantee you he probably hasn't changed his tune. But do you remember I texted you the other night after I had a message from someone about De Gea? And when De Gea came out and basically criticised the team for their performances, I don't know if this is true, but apparently the club were really not happy with that. Really not happy, because you shouldn't be criticising anything about Manchester United under the current regime. So potentially, maybe they've said to Ollie, you can't say anything detrimental against the club or our management, or say that it's a bad situation, because
dictatorship.
At the end of the day, it's propaganda. So maybe he has to portray a positive outlook, because otherwise he's going to go the same way as Jose. Because after De Gea made those comments, he's not been on a press conference since.
Yeah.
So And De Gea was completely right to basically say the whole situation was crap. So De Gea was right. It has been piss poor. I'm not denying that we're not playing great football. It's been crap. It's been a hard watch. But Ollie, I've just got this horrible feeling they've said to him, you are not allowed to say anything negative. And that's not with Ollie. That's with the board above.
Jordan Such says, Mark, if Lampard had Ollie's record at Chelsea, would he still be in a job because he's a legend? No, he'd be gone. And Dipansha Kumar says, Ollie out since West Ham. Don't you say Manchester United comes first? Then why are you not Ollie out along with Ed out because of the betterment of our club? Blank in. Dipansha, look, you can't force your opinion on anybody else. We've got a general election in the UK, and it pisses me off when YouTubers start telling you who to vote for. Put it across the screen now. But no, I'm only joking. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. You cannot tell a fan to be Ollie out or Ollie in, and I can't tell you who to vote for because it's your opinion. That's the whole bloody point of a democracy. So look, you can't tell me to do that. But I'm already Ed Woodward out. I'll repeat what I tweeted this morning. Tell me what person in any profession wouldn't be sacked if they were the best paid chief executive in the Premier League. They've got the biggest wage bill for players almost in world football. They've appointed 4 managers, all of which have failed. And we've gone from being the champions of England to a mid-table club. All on his watch. He should be sacked. He should be sacked. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care if he's watching himself and he's got tears in his eyes. He should be sacked. So I've always said that about Woodward. So there we go. Shyam Skanda Singh says, Ollie is very cheeky with his words. Now when asked if the team was about getting the job done, Ollie says it does not sound right to him. We all know what it's about, for God's sake. I don't. You need to clarify a little bit more with that. And Ralph Rangnick for Director of Football, says Greg Walker. And I don't know whether anybody's aware of this story, but thanks. I will get onto the Mourinho thing in a minute because I want to talk about that. Don't let me forget this, Draughty, but just say Mourinho and I'll remember. But I want to talk about this because it's topical. Ralph Rangnick. I don't know whether I'm pronouncing his name right. RB Leipzig. He was involved in how they've become, one of the best teams in Germany, and they're really their recruitment's very good. Now, the story is that Manchester United, Ed Woodward, has sent people over to speak to him. Now, but the great thing about this is it doesn't look like we're trying to recruit him. It looks like we've gone over there to brainstorm on what he did at RB Leipzig. Not to recruit him here. No, we don't want to do that because we don't want a director of football getting in the way of Woodward being in charge. But what we've gone over there is with a few post-it notes to find out what he's done. I mean, it just sounds like typical United to me, Draughty. Instead of going and recruiting people who are proven at building football clubs or rebuilding football clubs, because we need a rebuild, we go over there with a notepad and pen to try and get his best bits.
He's probably gone over there with some post-it notes and forgot a pen.
Yeah.
So, honestly, it's propaganda. It's showing to be doing the positive without actually doing anything. It's kind of like saying, oh, we've gone out there, we've just spoken to all these really, really intelligent guys, we're getting all these ideas and we're taking them in-house. Yeah, but that's like going to Einstein saying, I want the theory of relativity, and then using Pee Wee Herman to basically... It doesn't make any sense, does it? Ed Woodward is not a director of football. He does not understand transfers. This is a guy who is very, very good at the commercial aspects. I mean, he must be bloody genius to sell United at the moment, because the club's not doing well on the pitch, and yet the sponsors are still lapping it up. So clearly he's got, on the commercial side, the guy's a genius. But when it comes to hiring and firing footballers and, transfer contracts and the things he's doing on a football side, he really should be more like other people, like Moore from Liverpool, seen but not heard. And when he is heard, at least it's got something constructive towards the club. Whereas Mourinho, from the perspective I see, Woodward just wants everything to be about him. You didn't see that with David Gill. David Gill didn't go out that. You didn't really see that with Edwards. It just wasn't like that. But at the moment, it's all about Ed Woodward. How many, apart from maybe Spurs and Daniel Levy, but sometimes you hear about Kroenke for Arsenal, how many times do you keep hearing about Ed Woodward above Manchester United?
I know. And the thing is, look, as a club, if you ask Liverpool who their chief director of football is, they'll know as fans. And we should know who Ed Woodward is as fans. But the trouble is, the whole of the Premier League know who Ed Woodward is. I don't know who bloody runs any other club. Keegan Pillai says, Mark, Ollie strikes me as a man who has lost his confidence. Hence this type of team selection tonight. He is sacrificing our team for his career. A lot of managers do that towards the end, though, because they're desperate to stay in, aren't they? Right, I think I can talk about Mourinho now. So it is... I think it's either a year last night or it's a year tonight, as Draughty said, that Manchester United, I remember it well. I mean, Mourinho was sacked less than a month after this result, but we went to Turin against a decent Juventus team with Ronaldo. We were 1-0 down, I believe, and we scored 2 goals late on, and we won 2-1. And that's against Juventus in Turin. And Mourinho got sacked a month later. And most people, myself included, were Mourinho out by that stage, but we went to Turin and won. Now, the interesting thing with this, for me, Draughty, is that I've spoken a lot about fitness recently, and I think you know something about the fitness side of things as well, which I've not really gone too deep into, but I've said that it's unacceptable what's going on with United. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer came into the job. We did well for 3 months, and he said, wait till I get the summer. I'm going to get them really fit and raring to go. They needn't think they're going on holiday in June. I want them to keep on their fitness plans, etc., etc. I think we've been awful this season, fitness-wise. Absolutely awful. And what really resonates is that he says we were a lazy team, basically, in so many words, under Mourinho. And some of the players have said that. Yet under Mourinho, we won loads of games in the last few minutes of games. We were 2-0 down at home to Newcastle and we won 3-2. We're 1-0 down to Juventus and we win 2-1. And that team under Mourinho, for all its faults, were a very good second half team and went to the very end. Yet under Ollie, Mr. Energetic, Mr. We're going to play the high press, we're dead in the second half.
It's honestly, I mean, in terms of fitness, all I heard was the youth fitness isn't great at the moment, which is why Greenwood, Williams, Garner can't last more than one proper match at top level, because apparently they're just shot to pieces after. They can't manage more than one game in a row. Which is stunning. I don't know if that's true, but if it is, that's a shocking indictment of the fitness. But it's hard to tell from the outside what is going on. But it just seems to be that there's a lack of energy. In the first half, especially against Bournemouth, we looked all right for the first 20 minutes. We actually looked all right. We looked, even though the weather conditions were awful, the guys were up for it. There was a lot of running. Martial looked sharp. And then all of a sudden, the energy levels drop and we look lethargic. We don't want to get up the pitch. The pressing starts to go down and you're just like, we would never manage, say, a Jurgen Klopp type of full throttle, full press football for 90 minutes, especially not week in, week out. We can't even do it over 90 minutes, let alone, a number of games. So something is not right with the fitness and the conditioning of the players at the moment. We've got a lot of injuries that keep happening. So you've kind of got to question the medical staff at the moment. So it's not helping Ollie either, because is he the one who sets all the training regimes in terms of fitness? Probably not. It's usually tactical from the manager and obviously all the the training games that they have. But something's just not right, and something hasn't clicked. And I don't know whether it's recruitment. I don't know if it's Woodward coming in doing all this. But do you not think it's just there's something that doesn't feel right at the moment? It's not the same under Mourinho. At least Mourinho, like you said, we had a second win in the second half. We just don't have it.
No, and I think this is the problem that we have as a football club, is that there is so many contradictions and people call it lies. I don't like the word lie, because I worked in a job where a lie is a very serious thing, and I'd say it's half truths or it's fantasy talk. But one of the things I really clung on to was that when we had that first 3 months under Ollie, it did fade because the team weren't used to it. We were quite a lazy team under Jose. So I thought, this season we're going to be a lot fitter. We'll see a lot better team, and we haven't seen our fitter team. We've seen a team that we know this. This is not me speculating. We've seen it. We go in at half time, and they come out a worse team. So we're not as fit as we were last season. Dipanchar Kumar says, I'm not imposing any opinion. I'm just saying it's a bit contradictory that the club comes first. We are read out because of evidence, but not Ollie out. By the way, no offence. Hey, Dipanchar, I don't take offence at people having an opinion, mate. Akshay Sood says, if we win, Ollie's at the wheel, and when we lose, everyone's Ollie out. I think he just needs another transfer window and get the remaining deadwood out. All 3 signings this season have been promising. I spoke about this last night, though, Akshay, and I don't know what your opinion is. And let me just... excellent content right now. Well done, T. Ballard. Thank you. Thanks for the contribution, Ian Smith. And there was another super chat I just wanted to read. There it is, from TJ Smith. I'm concerned for McTominay and Fred. They have played lots of minutes and are at risk of injury. This would be even more catastrophic. I think you're absolutely spot on. That's why I was so angry at the start. We're playing way too many games, as far as I'm concerned. But just on the transfer stuff, Drawty there... Dan James was a recommendation from Ryan Giggs, so Ollie just said yes to that. Aaron Wan-Bissaka and Harry Maguire are not rocket science signings. They were both very expensive and they were both very obvious. We need a right back. I'd like them to be British. Wan-Bissaka, 50 million. We need a centre back. I'd like them to be British. Harry Maguire. They were, they have been good, but they were very obvious signings. And on top of that, it really, really, really worries me when people start saying those signings were good in November. Like, if I went back to Pogba, Zlatan and Bailly when Mourinho came in and bought them, everyone would say they're brilliant signings. A year later, 2 of them would become flops. 2 years later, 1 of them had disappeared, 1 of them was getting worse, and 1 of them was always injured. So you can't judge a signing after 3 months anyway. But I do think they were obvious signings, and it worries me when somebody says, oh, we've just got to stick with him, give him another transfer window. Hello, have you not seen where we are in the league? We're mid-table. If we lose at the weekend, or we lose a couple of games before Christmas, we'll be bottom half of the table by Christmas. So I think you've got to balance it up. I don't think you can just say, oh, just give him time, because time never happens. The future never comes. You've got to start, to give him time, you've got to see something now. And the problem is, at the moment, we're not seeing anything now. He's got to start producing something now to get time, I believe.
He does, but I think it's got to a point in Manchester United that it seems to be every year since Sir Alex left, at this point in the season, there's always doubts. Whether it was under Moyes, remember when, was it Nick Powell came on against, I can't remember who it was in the Champions League, and that was a dreadful performance. It just seems to be around this time of year at the moment, we're all getting rather narky before Christmas. It's... I don't know. And this year just seems to have gone worse than normal. It's this season has been very, very strange. For the amount of talent we supposedly have in our squad so far, our league position is dreadful. Our performances have been appalling, worse than Jose. And yet we talk about these 3 signings that have obviously come in as being brilliant. And like you said, they are obvious. They should have been brilliant when they came in, apart from Daniel James. In fairness, is a bargain, a complete bargain. But we're not going for like the Vidiches or the Evras, in say like in January. I know they didn't work out for a good 6 months until they came good, but we haven't really had the surprise signings. It's always been big, well-known names. Even Memphis Depay when he was over in Holland, he was tearing it up over there. So therefore, it went, he's a young, good player, we'll get him in. Yeah. And it's kind of been a bit like that with all the signings so far. We haven't really had anyone who surprised us apart from Daniel James. And I think United are just going too obvious and everything's a bit predictable with who they're going to sign. Everyone's saying Maddison. Now, if we sign Maddison, again, it's another player who we're going to overpay for, who we already know is good anyway. And I think the trouble is if you keep doing that and keep overspending, really you're not saving enough to buy in the other areas where maybe you could find a hidden gem. We're just not doing that. So again, that comes back to the board and Ed Woodward and director of football, which he hasn't hired.
Mr. Watt 316 said Woodward needs to go before Ollie. And that's something I've said for a long time. That's probably one of the reasons I don't.
It's never going to happen.
But it won't happen. You're right. Kill07 says lots of ex-players from the Fergie years became managers. None have been successful. Not sure you could say any good. Some decent, some's crap, and then there's Paul Ince. Khalid Jalal, welcome to the members club. If you want to become a member, just click the bottom the button that says join, and you will get a little badge next to your name. And Akshay Sood says, I agree with you, mate. I'm just saying that our poor form is mostly down to the quality in the squad. We need better players. We do, and there was a refusal to bring better players in the summer, and Ollie admitted it himself. So, for every positive you can find a negative, and for every negative you can find a positive. That's the brilliance of opinion. This is why we do it. Bruno Fernandes and Dybala would have been good, says Danish. Yeah, don't talk to me about Bruno Fernandes. When is the Saudis happening, says Poob. I don't think it will. Score prediction, Drawty, because we are only 9 minutes away from kickoff. I don't think any, and live comments as well. For me, it's got to be a minimum of 3-0. If you pick your best team against a team that's as bad as Partizan Belgrade, we have got to win by at least 3 goals.
3-1. I don't think we're capable at the moment of keeping a clean sheet. I think we'll score 3 because we put out a strong team, but I think 3-1. So bare minimum scoring 3. And that's exactly what I said earlier. I just think you have to be scoring at least 3 in this game.
Hafas Mahmood says, why do we still discuss keeping or selling a manager? We have been optimistic and tried all types of managers. That position is not the problem. I think we should be doing better with the players we've got, to be honest. Mark Witten says, I love Dan James, but take away the fact he has pace for a second. Is he a good footballer? I think the jury's out on Dan James. I really like him, but we'll come back to that. And Jermaine Decray says, 2 of our best signings came from Giggs, Martial and James. We should have stuck with him. Giggs also wanted to sign Mbappe before the rise. It's interesting though, because when I spoke to Ryan Giggs, we had to check the questions before we could do the interview, because that's what happens with a lot of footballers. And one of the questions he didn't want to talk about was Martial. I had to reword the question. It did get asked, but it was he didn't want to talk about signings he would make because he felt it would undermine Ollie, which was obviously a nice thing for Ryan to do. But when I said to him about Anthony Martial, his face turned a little bit, like he really didn't want to get involved in that. But the story is that he did recommend Anthony Martial. So, there we go. But just on Dan James, Drawty, when we signed Dan James, I basically said he shouldn't be starting games. He's a £15 million player from the Championship, and we shouldn't be putting pressure on him. He's a player that comes off the bench, maybe plays a few games, and we bed him in. It doesn't surprise me that we've now got some fans saying maybe he's not good enough, because that's the whole point of Dan James. He is a raw talent that isn't ready to go straight into a top 4 side and play every game. Fortunately, he's not in a top 4 side, he's in a mid-table side, so maybe he can. But he was going to Leeds in January. He is not a player that Man City, Liverpool, Spurs, Arsenal, Chelsea were even considering. He is a risk. I think he will be a good risk, but we shouldn't be expecting Dan James to turn it on every game, because I wasn't. I thought he's a raw talent. We're going to have to be patient with him.
No, I mean, he's got pace to burn, and in this day and age, that is a major asset. Because if you've got someone who can run in behind at lightning speed, you're going to cause the back line all kinds of problems. The only problem is we've almost become a little bit reliant on him already. And that's a worry for a player who really we thought was like you said, a calculated risk. So we've gone from a calculated risk to actually he's probably pushing for starting lineup in every single first team game, especially in the Premier League, because he has been effective. His range of passing has actually been pretty good, and his vision and attacking ability has in some spells been outstanding. There's parts of his game which he definitely needs to work on. Sometimes his decision making isn't all that in the final third. Sometimes he just gets into the wrong positions. But on the whole, he's been a massive success. But he shouldn't be a first teamer right now. But he is, purely because of the state of the squad. And that's an indictment of exactly what's happened over the last 6 years. We bought and bought and bought. We sold everyone we bought in, basically. And we just keep recycling the squad over and over again. And it's like a merry-go-round. We just keep going back to square one. So if Pogba, we didn't want to really touch on Pogba tonight, but if Pogba does go in the summer, again, you've then got to sign 2 midfielders anyway to replace him and Herrera.
Yeah.
So
and
what are we
Fellaini.
going to do? And Fellaini, so what we're going to do? Find another championship sort of midfielder and bring them in, and then they'll suddenly be thrashed into the first team. It's kind of Dan James should have only ever been a squad player at this stage in his career and for Manchester United, but because of where we are, he's now a first teamer. I don't blame the lad. I think he's brilliant, but I don't think he's that top level yet, and I don't think another team would have taken a risk.
I just think, one thing I would say in Ollie's defence, and although it might come across as not being in defence, is that I did say this, he's a naive manager who's out of his depth. That is what he is. And I think some people say that as a horrible thing, but it's a fact. He has got no CV of a big club, and he is out of his depth because Manchester United, most managers would come into Manchester United. Alex Ferguson was out of his depth when he first came in. Moyes was out of his depth. Van Gaal and Mourinho weren't because of the experience they had. But Manchester United is a hard job to come in. And I think Ollie was always going to make mistakes. And I think he has made mistakes. And I think that, with Pogba being injured, like you say, we're effectively down 3 midfielders. I never liked Fellaini, but he played so many games that basically you have to class him as a first teamer. Herrera was one of our best midfielders, and Pogba is our best midfielder. So in the space of 6 months, we lost 3 midfielders that we didn't replace. And when you put it like that, is it any wonder that we're struggling? The midfield is where a game is won and lost. We let 3 go and didn't replace them. I know Pogba's still here, but we're still 3 midfielders down. And again, that was because of Ollie. He played Pogba for 90 minutes against Rochdale with an injury. And then you wonder why he's out for 2 months.
But we need 3 midfielders, bare minimum, because we know Pogba's going to go. There's no way he is going to stay at the end of this season, regardless. Even if we had a miraculous turnaround and started winning every game between now and the end of the season and ended up in the top 4, why would Pogba stay? There's no reason for a player of his calibre to even stay at Manchester United and consistently, ultimately waste his career away at this club at the moment. So we're going to need a complete rebuild of the midfield because Mata hasn't got it. Matic certainly hasn't got it. Yes, Scott McTominay's looking decent, but he's going to take. He's not at that level which we need right now to be. No, he's not. But I do like McTominay. I think he's decent. But we just don't have a midfield. Pereira's not a top level player. Fred's hit and miss. Lingard is just shot of form, and to be honest with you, I think his head's elsewhere at the moment. So
I disagree with you on that. You misspelt the word. It's you needed to take the O out of shot and replace it with an I, but you weren't far off.
Well, I think it's an O, not an L. But I think in terms of a no, you were right actually. I can't even spell tonight. But the point is, our midfield is just non-existent. It's really non-existent, and I worry if they don't buy a midfielder in January or 3 in the summer, we're going to struggle because yes, we can bring in Garner. I'm hoping Angel. What's happened to Angel Gomez?
He's actually injured. You see, but the thing is, you can't even go a player's injured and go, oh, he's injured. You go, oh, he's injured as well, is he? So, and there's a lot of United players at the moment. I was looking at this today. There's a lot of United players that their injuries have not even been disclosed. So we don't know how long the back. Delot has been out for weeks. No one's disclosed what's wrong with him. Gomez is out. No one's disclosed what's wrong with him. Twansebi's out. No one's really disclosed what's wrong with him. So, because I think they're all muscle injuries, and if they disclose that they're muscle injuries, everyone will go, oh, for God's sake, the fitness department's useless. But we all think that anyway, so they may as well tell the truth. We're very close to kick-off anyway, Drawty, so thanks very much for popping on.
No worries. Hopefully it's going to be that 3-0 that you want.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll speak to you in a bit, pal. Really enjoyed that, and I'll see you soon.
See you later. Cheers. Bye.
34-year-old Trash the Young leading the team out always makes my blood boil, says Akshay Su. Just look away. That's what I do. And Jason Smith is our latest member of the United Stand Members Club. Remember, you can do that by clicking the join button. Someone said Mata would score a hat-trick, says Daniel Ajasa. Well, I think that the opposition are that bad that it could happen. I just want to ask a question here, because you're very clever people. Why is Rangers Porto, why is Ibrox empty? Is the game been cancelled, or have they got some sort of stadium ban on fans? And also, I've not asked anybody yet, please do subscribe to the channel. The subscriber count in the top right hand corner only updates every 1,000 now because of YouTube's new bloody subscriber update. But we're on 577,419. So if you haven't subscribed, please do bottom right hand corner. I'll keep updating you how we're doing, and hopefully we can hit 578 tonight. So if you haven't subscribed to the channel, you're very, very welcome. Bottom right hand corner to do so. We're live every night at 8 o'clock. Flex is up there, Rants is up there. We'll have fan cams from them, Saeed, all your favourite fan cammers. Previews, 8 o'clock shows, match reactions, transfer news. United have been bought by Saudis if it ever happens, which it won't. But, you know, we cover everything on here, and you're very, very welcome. And the game is just about to kick off, so I will click the timer and we will start talking about the match. But remember Tactics Watch. I want you to monitor tonight how quick Manchester United move the ball forward and compared to moving it sideways or backwards. The big problem, you know, people can talk about all the bloody tactics and formations they like. If you've watched Manchester United every game this season, our biggest problem is moving the ball from back to front slowly and not creating chances. We are playing a pub team tonight, the Serbian Dog and Duck. We should be moving the ball forward. We should be dominating them. Keshel Halson says, we really need a player like Haaland and one centre midfielder, McTominay and two others, one new star and one midfielder leader. So totally we need 2 in January minimum. You know what? There's lots of ways out for Manchester United, but I would like to see us sign John McGinn. I would. Mark, you are trending on Serbia because you said Partizan are farmers. Saswat Pani. Well, I hope they're not too angry with me and they understand that it's banter. But you know what? Like, Partizan should have beaten us in Belgrade. They should have done. And I thought they played really well against the second half, Partizan Belgrade, because United were awful. But I think even they would admit, when we were over in Belgrade, their fans even admitted that United should be winning 3-0. I think they were stunned at the fact that we didn't. So, you know, we're Manchester United against Partizan Belgrade. We should be winning these sort of games. United are in a bit of bother here, actually, at the back. Let's see if we get rid of it. We have done. Sloppy start, says Jonathan Gallagher. Yeah, I was just keeping an eye on that whilst trying to read your thing. Why has Ollie put a strong team out, says Robbie Stones. Yeah, I tell you what, if you don't watch the United stand, the best bit, the game is sometimes good, but actually under United it doesn't tend to be that good. The best bit has been that hour before. The chat we were having there, it's always really good. So make sure that if you are a United fan, you want to talk about United, always join us an hour before kickoff because it's always a good chat. Number 9 is a handful, says Bay Area Boogie Boo. Yeah, I've forgotten what his name is, and we only played him a couple of weeks ago. But they're very wasteful, Partizan. They should have beaten us. They should have beat us. We won off a penalty, didn't we? I can't even remember how we won. You know, I just miss. Serial Maniac, I'm not answering that question anymore. Even Mad Marcus is getting fed up of it, so I'm not even going to talk about it. And Martial's offside. He scored, but he was offside. Slipped through by Rashford. I'm on Ollie Watch tonight. Chin scratching, leg crossing, rabbit in a headlight eyes will get an instant fail, says Nick P. Nice little slip ball. Yeah, Martial's miles off. I thought it might be one of those ones that you want VAR, but I don't think VAR is in the Europa League as far as I'm aware. Nobody answered me about the Rangers game as to why it's not why they've got no fans there. I saw some people talking about racism, but I don't know whether that was to do with a stadium ban. I don't know. Dino says the power's just gone out. Gotta love South Africa. You might not miss anything, mate. Alvin Block says Daniel Levy at United. Would you take him? Daniel Levy, but he owns Spurs, Alvin. So and no, I don't think. I think he's another businessman, isn't he? Right, here's United. Sideways pass from McTominay when he had space to go forward. So that's the sort of thing I'm looking at tonight. Wan-Bissaka goes backwards when he can go forward, and McTominay tries to go sideways when he could have gone forward and nearly loses the ball. And this is why United don't stretch teams. We go too far. Sectarian chance, says Eric Shawn. So it's been played behind closed doors. Totally. Hypothetically. I know it's hypothetical, Alvin. And United have started off really quite sloppily here. Oh, for God's sake, it's got to be offside. It's got to be offside. We nearly bloody conceded there. McTominay needs the armband. Young out, says Jose Frias. And United got carved open and offside was given on their striker. And I thought for a moment we'd bloody conceded. It was a lucky goal of a deflection, but they do quite well here, Partizan. Couple of passes. He is offside as the ball goes through to him. He was offside, and it was a defensive tackle by, I think, Rojo that went in off. So we've had 2 goals, both offside, so we don't need to worry too much. But Partizan have started off as well as we have, and 5 minutes gone. Smutty says you're a bit behind, Mark. Well, I can't, mate. It's probably the stream because I'm watching this in England on BT Sport 2. So I'm scared, Mark, says Ketil Helsund. Put the light on. Put the light on. You'll be fine. Mark Rio Ferdinand says Spurs should get rid of some of the players, but he's not said the same about the United, which shows he's just protecting Ollie and delusional, says Zayn Miasi. Look, I think I was talking to Flex and Rants about this afternoon, actually. I think we need to accept that the ex-players of Manchester United are willingly hypocrites because they said things about Mourinho and Van Gaal that they won't say against Ollie because he's an ex-teammate. Everybody knows that, and it's sort of... opinion on the lineup, says Timmy H. You're obviously a little bit late. I lost my shit, Timmy. I'm sorry to swear, I lost my shit when that team came out. I think it's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous how strong he's gone, and we started badly. So the rumours: do you want oil money or Glazers? Says Jose Frias. I mean, until they become not rumours, I don't need to comment on that, because I think if you said you want oil money, you're just basically saying that what Man City have done is okay. United on the attack here, though. I think Partizan have started off quite well. And Rashford, sitter. Absolute sitter. Cross came in. Ollie doesn't look impressed with that at all. Ollie's like this. It was a sitter for Rashford and he put it wide. It came to him on the back post. It was a little bit lucky the way it happened. It is one of those rainy night crosses. It skids along the surface, falls to Rashford and he misses an absolute sitter. Puts it wide from the far post. Rangers, no fans away after sectarian song, says Wolfie 35p. And Ashley Young couldn't cross a road or pass go on Monopoly, says Sam Ameson. Big chance for Rashford there. Should be 1-0. And those early goals make a big difference. But I can't... I like Partizan Belgrade. I really... Now I've watched them. I forget the names of the players. But I think that the Japanese lad off the left-hand side who was at Arsenal, I liked him. Timmy H did miss the start of the stream, sorry. It might be worth going and watching it and having a laugh. I think I had a big vein bursting out my forehead. The small, I think he's the number 10 for them. I should look at their names, but they impressed me. And I mean, so far Partizan have been as good as us. Asano's his name. Thank you, Man United. We need a penalty already, says Key Buckley. I might just see how well that does as a tweet. People might not get the sarcasm. Martial, you see, this is good from Martial. That's what I like to see. Hold up play. What a little ball into Mata as well. It should be a goal. What a save. Oh, Rashford again. I think that was more about a good save, to be honest. Lovely ball by Martial to find Mata. It was absolutely superb. Takes out 5 Partizan players. Mata cuts it back to Rashford. It should be 2-0. He's got a score there. It should be 2-0. Give him time. ×2. We're back in 1998. Is the Saudi Arabian deal back on, Mark? And do you think we will win today? Tired legs out there, and I put United to win, says George Ramos. I think we've got to win this game by 3-0. I think we've got to win this game by 3-0 because the opposition are not that good. But I've actually been quite impressed with them. They're giving a good account of themselves. But we should be 2-0 up. Rashford's missed 2 straightforward chances. And I thought the build-up play on that second chance was brilliant between Martial and Mata, by the way. The Nelly says, no January signings because injured players will be back. Woodward will be buzzing. Then in February, key players will all be injured again. Joke. We will pick up a lot of injuries throughout this season, by the way, because we've been playing players too often in games like this. Just seeing this Rashford second chance again. Well, at least he went with his left foot. I think if he'd gone with his right foot, that would have been a bit poor. But the goalkeeper did really well on that. Really well. Did you see the stat that Neville had a better record in his first 28 games with Valencia than Ollie with United? Neville was sacked, says Jordan Sitter. You're joking. Neville's record at Valencia was bloody dreadful as well. He can't have had a worse one than that. Come on, United. Just get one and then this game's over. We can all go to sleep. Fred's going to hit that one. And it goes out for a goal kick. So, how are you feeling, everybody? 10 minutes into this game. We've got a corner there. I thought it went off Mata. Pep can't fail at City. Same should apply for United, says Beinar Ragnarsson. And cross comes in from Mata. Easy catch for the keeper. Parmesan have got Mr. Miyagi in goal, says Nick P. I don't know what he's on about there. And here is Asana. I like him. And he's fed the number 9 into the box for Partizan. He's done quite well there. Good build-up play. Little dink. He's got to be offside. Asana, Romero, and he's got it. I tell you what, they're causing us a few problems going forward. They are. And now United. The game's quite stretched. They're not scared of us at all. 11 minutes in. Mark, it's often painful to watch, but I'll always care as a fan, so I usually listen to the show while doing other stuff these days. Thanks for all the great work and content, says Mike Boddington. Thanks for the appreciation, Mike, but it is our channel as a community, and I think we all help each other. Creating chances, but will we be poor second half, says Jason cleverly. And if we played one holding midfielder, we'd play so much better. There is absolutely no link-up play on the right-hand side. And that's from Jimmy Marseille. And I think, again, I'm going to keep that back for afterwards. 2 midfielders at home. You've made a really good tactical observation there. 2 midfielders at home to a team like this. It's hilarious, isn't it? Absolutely hilarious. Why do we play 2 holding midfielders? And you know, we were talking about that before the game started as well. Please do subscribe to the channel if you're new, by the way. Bottom right hand corner, the United Stand, the biggest United YouTube channel. We're live every night at 8 o'clock. We've got fan cams, etc. It's chucking it down with rain as well. We'll have transfer news going on, everything like that. So make sure you get involved. Always a live community on most of the shows as well. So get involved and join it. You won't look back. You'll really enjoy it. And we're currently on. Let me just do a subscriber check for you. As Partizan, that's a foul by McTominay. We're closing in on 578. So please do subscribe, and if you have subscribed, please do click the share button and share it on Twitter and Facebook. No one is scared of us anymore, says Christopher Lou. Mark, thank you, Christopher Lou. I think Asana for them has been their best player. The Japanese player has been their best player. Well, Fred, you see there, Fred, he could have gone forward and he's looking to go backwards. I mean, this is something I've said to people to keep an eye on during this game. Watch how many times we go backwards and forwards. Ashley Young, backwards. Fred, slightly forwards. McTominay brings the ball forward. 4 touches and then passes forward. Wan-Bissaka now. You see, now we're attacking them because we go forward. Good cross by Wan-Bissaka. And Rashford, fucking hell. Rashford's not got his shooting boots on tonight, has he? In the penalty box and puts it over for 3 points. That would have been good in the Rugby World Cup. After Jose, would you have taken Keane over Ollie, says Lucas Sinford. I like Roy Keane, but I don't see what his coaching credentials. I think that's poor from Rashford as well. Poor technique. I think we're going to go for Kieran Richardson and Chris Eagles in January. Get the gang back together. United DNA. What do you say, Mark, says Alligator. I definitely say Rashford should have a hat-trick. I know that was a hard thing, but he had so much time. That chance there, if you've ever played football, looks like it's the hardest one of the lot, but it's not a fast cross. It's hanging up. He's under no pressure from any player. He's in the box. It's perfect for him, and he puts it over the bar. I think that was probably the easiest chance of the lot. It looks harder, but it's not. It's just a technique thing. Thanks for the contribution, 619 training. And overrunning midfield again. Boy, do we miss a top midfielder. Fred doesn't have a clue, says Matt Rush. Well, I said before the game, tactics watch. People are often saying, why don't United create many chances? Well, we've actually created 3 chances in the first 15 minutes, so it's a little bit different. But what I said is, just look at United on how quickly we move the ball through the midfield. And already, when McTominay and Fred have had it, 50% of the time they're going sideways or backwards. And that's not the thing to do when they've got space in front of them. I like to comment there. I can't find it now. One word to sum up our football. Go, says Paul Robinson. It was one of the mods. And Giovanni said, we should be winning this a minimum of 3-0. If Rashford had his shooting boots on, we would be winning 3-0. And let's not forget, our 2 centre-backs have got 1 striker to deal with. You know. I'm going to have a glass of red wine, I think. Turning to drink already. How come McTominay seems to be free of criticism, says Jesus Escobar. Oh, he just is, isn't he? And at least we have scored more goals than Vardy this season. We have 13 and he's got 10, says Fitness and Scriptures Karath. And hi Mark, my friend Austin just celebrated his birthday. He's a massive fan. Thank you for the good content, happiness you provide to us, says CC. And happy birthday to Austin as well, if you are watching. Ayub says that Rashford will never be a prolific goal scorer. Well, he's probably proved that point in this game, hasn't he? Because he's had 3 chances and a proper goal scorer would have scored 2. You know, from the 3 chances that Rashford's had, a clinical goal scorer would have scored 2, and he's scored none. That's an awful pass forward by McTominay. This is what gets on my nerves about Partizan. They did this in the away fixture at their place as well. And Asana, it's overhit that a bit. They seem to be able to knock the ball into their strikers' feet way too easily. They did it in Belgrade as well, and that's like I say, that's terrible from United to be allowing their striker to get the ball into their feet. McTominay hasn't even been bad. He's a CDM. He's doing his job. He's not a number 10, says the Batman channel. You see, you say something against McTominay, and the Mayo gang will be there. United wanted Jose after Fergie, got as the version there now though, says Danili. They got it with Moyes as well. This is the player I like, number 20 something. I think he's 22. We should definitely bring Sandro Tonali from Brescia. He's a very talented kid and can be an excellent signing for us, says Anaban Oni Soccer. There's a lot of good young players playing in Serie A, but not many of them tend to come over to the Premier League. Rashford needs competition. He looks to relax. Haaland will get 2 goals here. Rashford needs somebody to keep his mind on focus, says Kjeld Helsland. And Mark, thoughts on if we get beat tonight, says Dylan. We won't. I don't think we won't get beat tonight. I mean, look, we beat them in their place, and they played better than us. So Partizan actually has a tactical plan, unlike us, says T Ballard. Yeah, I've been quite impressed by them. I can't even remember the goal against them, and it was only a couple of weeks ago. I wiped so much out of my mind with Manchester United. But let me just tell you the player I like for Partizan, so you'll know his name. I think he deserves his name. Suma, number 20. I like him, and I like Asano as well. Sadiq's the number 9 who plays up front, the big lad. But I like Suma and Asana. Number 11 is the Japanese player Asano, and Suma is number 20. He's quite small, but I like him. I do like him. Maybe we are trying to make Partizan fall asleep with our play, and we'll get them on the break, says Leaf Hunter. Today's selection jeopardises our chances on Sunday, says Nitin Kashyap. Yeah, I mean, for those joining us a little bit late, I was very unhappy with the team news for 2 reasons. One, I think if Garner should have played, we should have rested players for a game like this. And 2, Greenwood 1-0. Yes, took it well. Lovely finish, calm, collected. 1-0 to Manchester United. Wrap that up and give it to Santa. No messing around with Greenwood. 1 chance, 1 goal, and Manchester United are in front. Wasn't rash, pardon the pun. I think Rashford would have just blasted at that. He actually took his touch. So reminiscent of Robin van Persie, the way he did that. He has got that brilliance on his left foot. Comes across him, takes his touch, turns the defender inside out by faking to shoot, and it is 1-0 to Manchester United. And, well, look, we should be 1-0 up anyway. We should be probably 2-0 up. But at least that takes a little bit of the pressure off, because it's been quite an equal game. But lovely little finish by Greenwood, showing his quality there. Rashford could never. Yeah. Well, 1-0 to Manchester United. And if anyone's going to score, you want it to be Greenwood. And he tweets out. What do you think about that then? Ollie's there celebrating like he's won the World Cup. Justified, Ollie, you see. You pick your best 11, really. And you've got your beating Partizan. Give him another 4-year contract. So, we've got that early-ish goal that we've always talked about. Can we now go on and win 3 or 4 or 5-0, please? Good morning, Mark. I woke up a couple of minutes ago. Have we played any good? Horrible team selection. Who do we get on the bench, says Mido Ayub. And it's mad that you're saying you like some of their players when we should be making all of them look crap, really, says Josh Brownwood. And a team like this should be coming to Old Trafford with fear, not with confidence, says Dane Summer. Look, this game is going exactly how I thought it would. Comparable to them, and I know people got offended when I called Partizan farmers, but they're not good. I think Rochdale would beat them. They're not a good team. Manchester United should be beating them 4-5-0 without any problems at all. And, we're at Old Trafford. We were always going to win this game. I think we've gone way too strong for it, but I don't see I think that's it now. I think it's about how many we will score, because their confidence will drop and our confidence will go up. Was that Greenwood's first touch of the game? I didn't see him before the goal, says Mark Whitton. He's not really been in the game that much. I mean, but having said that, I've got to say that without creating anything, Partizan have played as well as we have. We've just created more chances than them. I mean, we've created about 4 good chances in the first 23 minutes. Rashford should have had 3. Greenwood's had 1. But that's my disappointment from this game. Greenwood scores a goal, and that's a real big positive. But I would have liked to have seen Garner play, because I don't think McTominay and Fred have really played that well, have they? So Garner couldn't have done any worse. But we'll find out on Sunday how big a risk it is to play so many first team players in a game of this quality. We'll find out. I mean, I think the minimum, as I said, when you pick a team as strong as United have picked with Ollie tonight, you've got to go and win this game. I would say 3 or 4-0 at least. Greenwood's turning on the skills there. I can do that one he just did there. You know, that little roll thing? I don't know what they can call it. I've always been brilliant at that. You wouldn't believe me, but I can. Magic Mason says James McCluskey. Gomez is injured, Ryan Bucco, yeah. Don't forget to share the stream, says Snaps. Yeah, please do share if you are new. Click the share button and share it on Twitter and Facebook underneath. If you are new, please subscribe at bottom right-hand corner. We've got a healthy 15,000 people watching on a pretty much dead rubber European game. But at least United are trying to pass forward. Why does United always talk badly about social media fans? United boasts over 600 millions, but we are constantly talked down to, says Ergo Proxy 0804. Oh, that's sad that you feel like that. Anyway, Partizan have got a bit of a break on here, 2v2. It's that number 20 who I quite like. Ooh, I tell you what, it was close. It was close. He reminds me of the lad who plays for United Stand FC, Victor Stripes. Similar sort of player. Maguire, I mean, he's well wide with his shot, but Maguire's standing. That's poor defending from Maguire. He's got to get a lot tighter than that. I've always criticised Rojo for letting people take shots. Luis Herrera, Chong's not even on the bench, so yeah, again, another player I would like to have seen involved today. See, at least Fred's trying to play forward there. Mata goes backwards. See, we've had the ball now for about 20 seconds, and this is good. Martial, shoot! Oh, over the bar. That was good. That was actually good, that phase of play there. I was going to criticise it, but it was actually quite good because we held on to the ball and then we moved it quickly. Ashley Young knocked it forward. Rashford to Green into Martial and then back. They've got a good... You know what? Martial and... Oh, that was so close from Martial as well when you see it back. Oh, that was nearly a worldie. That was so close from Martial. But Martial and Rashford have got a good connection. Why isn't Greenwood starting in the Premier League, says Jose Frias? Because he can't drop Rashi. Rashi can't be dropped. Delvin says, if Bay wasn't injury prone, I'd play him over Maguire. I like Maguire. I do like Maguire, but he is struggling a little bit at the moment. And also, let's not forget, Maguire is now playing as a right-sided centre-back when he's used to being a left-sided centre-back. Good run by Rashford into Martial. And now I've just remembered the penalty. It was a penalty. Williams won the penalty, didn't he, late on? Mark Witten. Mark, serious question. When will bigger English clubs start coming for our good young players like Liverpool do with Southampton? Or we used to worry that players like Twansebe or Greenwood would leave. Should we drop off? I don't think so. United will always be a big club, Mark, to be honest. I don't understand what Maguire is all about. I think people are not criticising because he's a new signing. He looks average and can't pass, says Fitness and Scripted Sharath. Yeah, I mean, you know what? Maguire is starting to get a lot of stick at the moment. What do you think? Ollie's reaction to the goal says everything, says Jordan Such. I don't know what you mean, Jordan. I don't want to put words in your mouth. Are you saying that he over celebrated a goal against a team that's not very good? Or are you saying that, you know, he didn't celebrate it enough? I think you mean the former. Yeah, but just on Harry Maguire, what do people actually think about Harry Maguire? Because I feel that the criticism of Harry Maguire is somewhat unfair. I like Harry Maguire. I would much rather have got Koulibaly, but we didn't want to spend 100 million, so we spent 80 on Maguire. But I said this before the game. I think everybody just rolls out the same line all the time. Oh, look at all Ollie's signings. They're really, really good. Wan-Bissaka's coming forward here. We've got a bit of a break on. But you can't judge a signing after 3 months. You know, you've got to... As I said, the first 3 months of Zlatan and Eric Bailly and Pogba, we were like, oh, Mourinho's a genius. And then a year later, we're like, well, Bailly's always injured, Zlatan's injured and gone, and Pogba's inconsistent. You've got to give a new signing a year. I mean, look at Lindelof's first year. Look at Fred's first year. You know, you can't be a flop after your first year. And what I always say about flops is that if you want to see a flop, look at Patrice Evra. And that's not where the conversation ends. Patrice Evra was not a flop. But Patrice Evra and Nemanja Vidic came into Manchester United in January, and they both looked really bad and went on to become two of our best ever players. So it's early days to be saying things like that. But that doesn't mean that Maguire won't be a flop. But I think it's unfair to say he's a. You know, some people a couple of weeks ago were saying, look at these brilliant 3 signings. A few weeks later, they're like, well, you know, even Wan-Bissaka's looked a bit shaky at times. More goals on the way, please, says Jason Moore. I'm saying at least 3. At least 3 we should be beating these by. How is it?
Fine.
Irish Atheist says, if Bay is fit, he's bigger than Maguire. Well, you've just put the biggest if in the world there, if he's fit. I mean, I don't think he's ever going to be fit. Sophie says the passing's been poor. That was the one thing I did say before the game, wasn't it? I'll get a drink in a minute. I did say that. Watch how many times we play backwards. And Wan-Bissaka's gone backwards. McTominay goes forwards. And we lose the ball. We've got a throw in, though. But we don't play the ball forward enough. Jake Dawson says, Mark, you've got lovely hair, thank you. It needs a cut soon, to be honest. It's just gone beyond perfect length. Fred goes sideways. McTominay lazy. I think some of McTominay's passing in the last couple of games has been really poor. And that number 20 for I forgot his name. Is it Ozomo? No, that's Asano. Is the Japanese player, isn't he? But when you think about it, we've only got a couple of players to come back into this team against Brighton. And I would imagine Brighton are better than Partizan Belgrade. So thanks for everything you do, Mark. Love from Sweden, says Medoskel20. Thank you very much. And I hope, and cheers to that, I hope to visit Sweden one day. Nice. McTominay's just gone down injured here. Yellow card. I don't think it was a bad tackle really, but he's got a yellow card. The Fred agenda needs to stop. Just because he's not English, he gets criticism, says the Equaliser. I don't know. I think fans have players that they like and they don't like, don't they? You know, Martial gets a lot of criticism and I don't like it. I think the jury's out with Fred, if you wanted my honest opinion, but he's done all right recently. And I always said with Fred, he needed a run of games to find out whether he's good enough, and he's getting it. So I think by the time Pogba comes back, we'll know whether Fred's got a future at United or not. I still think he needs to go up a gear. Lovely little bit of play by Martial. Oh, what a goal! That's magic! That's absolutely world class by Martial. That's what we miss at Manchester United. That's bloody superb. Out of nothing, he jumps on a mistake. He skips past 2 players and puts it in the bottom corner. That's pretty much game over. But that is Martial. That's why I like Martial. That's why Martial is so important to Manchester United. Absolutely brilliant. Let's watch it back again. Bit of a mistake by Partizan. The ball goes loose to Martial. He goes past 1, goes past 2, 3. Oh, it's brilliant. It's brilliant. It's a lovely goal. He goes past 2 players who are diving in and then puts it in the bottom corner. Opportunistic. Skill. Oh, why is he not in the French squad? Absolutely superb by Martial, that. Martial, absolutely super goal. I love that. I love that. You know, these games are difficult with United at the moment, but there is still opportunity for this sort of brilliance. And I'm just going to say, if Messi scores that, the world's wanking itself off. It was superb. Absolutely superb goal. And that's been worth the admission fee. And it could be 3. Oh, he should have scored there. United, you know what? I'm not surprised, but United could be 4 or 5-0 up here. Martial gets through one-on-one and puts it over the bar. Partizan are the same Partizan they were in Partizan, funnily enough. Pretty poor at the back. I think going forward, they're okay. Rashford slips Martial in and he should score there. He scored the hard goal, the wonder goal, and then he misses the one-on-one. But I'm still salivating about that goal for Martial to make it 2-0. And I did say at least 3-0, and we should be winning. We should be winning 3-0, shouldn't we, really? Should be winning maybe 4-0. Aaron Wan-Bissaka is a great defender, says Reda Cabazard, but I can't help but think he's more suited for teams who sit back and defend with their lives. Going forward, he's very limited. Look at how effective Liverpool fullbacks are. I mean, look, Aaron Wan-Bissaka is not known for his attacking abilities, and he does need to improve on that, and I'm sure he will do. Lindelof and Maguire makes the same mistake, but only Lindelof get bad reviews and Maguire can't make a mistake, says Frederick Larson. Well, let's just focus on the positives in this game, because I think this season, and I totally agree, because we will get fans from other clubs coming in and saying, oh wow, you're beating a bunch of farmers 2-0 with your strongest team. I agree with that, but it doesn't mean that you can't celebrate the positives, and I think that Greenwood scoring as a young lad, so assured, that's a positive. And Martial back in the team, scoring a goal like that is a positive. And it will make the opposition sit up and think, that Martial's a good player. Fred goes long again. Partizan are poor at the back. We saw that in Partizan and we just didn't take advantage of it. So Ole should celebrate more to hype up the team, says Jose Frias. Fantastic goal by Martial though. Well worth watching it just for that. And hopefully we get a few more. Louis Rizzo says, bring on Garner. Yeah, this team, I'll say it again, this team is way too strong for the opposition. We shouldn't have gone this strong in a game like this. And I hope that in the second half that he will bring on Garner, because it would be nice to bring Garner on into a scenario like this. I mean, even Mata's playing well. That's how bad Partizan are. There's so much space in and around their box. Messi does that against Real Madrid. Come on, Martial couldn't do that against Bournemouth, says Jordan Such. Yeah, but he didn't get the ball, did he? He didn't get the ball in the final third. Give him the ball, he'll cause problems. Anytime we score a good goal, Martial is involved, says Jesus Escobar. Oh, lovely. I love that number 20 for Partizan. He's really good. Apart from his final ball. Here's Mata. He's not going to have the pace there, Mata. He's just too old now, Juan Mata, isn't he? Here we go. We're still on the attack though. Keep moving. Tell you what, when we've moved the ball quickly and forward, we've caused them all sorts of problems. Martial foul. Paul Robinson says Rashford's decision making is shocking and Mata's too weak. Fred outstanding, says Issa Undudu. Strategy without tactic is the longest road to victory. Tactic without strategy is the noise before defeat. Very deep from Lacastu. And James Sadler, I'm sorry, I'm just going to remove you from the channel because your comment's not even worth reading. The squads, the Saudis are coming, says Ramon Davids. And if Martial was at PSG, he would be better than Neymar, says Joey. It's interesting, Martial didn't get picked in the French squad, right? He's been brilliant this season when he's been fit. Lamar gets picked in the French squad. He's got no goals and no assists in his all season. Mason Greenwood into Martial. United are playing with real confidence now. I really hope we can go and win this game like 6-7-0. Imagine if we did that. It would give us some real confidence going into the Brighton game. And I said, that's what Ollie had to do in a game like this. What a run that is by Asano. What a bit of play. And Rojo wins a free kick, knocks it out. Best player so far, says 451. Best player on the pitch, I think, is probably this lad, Asano, for them. He's playing in a crap team, but I think he's been decent. But Greenwood and Martial have played well. I think Fred's done well. Rashford's done all right, apart from he should have had a hat-trick. But it's nice to have a bit. It's nice, I know. Look, the quality of the opposition is not even Rochdale standard, and I said that before we even played them away from home. But it's nice to have a little bit of positivity, isn't it? Imagine how draining it would be if it was 0-0 at half time, or even worse, 1-0 to them. At least it's a bit of positivity. Arta, I don't think United will get Havertz because I think he will go to Bayern Munich. I've forgotten the name of the number 20 for them as well. He's fantastic. Bring me a higher love. Bring me a higher love. Please do subscribe to the channel if you're new, otherwise I'll sing more. Bottom right hand corner, we're trying to get to 578,000 tonight. We're live every night at 8 o'clock. We've got fan cams after the game, we've got previews, we've got transfer news, any breaking news around United, we go live. It's always real opinion as well. It's not always opinions that people agree with. We do get a bit of stick for what people say. We do call-ins on a Monday, but it is real opinion. It's what fans are thinking. Alright, there's something then. Get in the live comments if you're watching live. What's your feeling right now as a United fan? We're 2-0 up. We're passing the ball forward a lot. We've created a lot of chances. We've got 2 good goals from 2 of our favourite players. Are you feeling positive? Or are you just meh? Or are you undecided? Or how do you feel? Let us know. Let us know. Daz Sweets is right. We've wasted a lot of chances that against the big teams you need to be scoring. Martial's goal was fantastic. They've just shown it back again there. Hidaris Aziz says Rashford is the best Manchester United player. You're wrong. Martial, get in my veins, says Vexritz. At least it's your veins and nothing else. If we're to win by 6, we've got 5 minutes to score 4 more goals, says Kill07. Yeah, he's talking about how bad we are in the second half. And yeah, but Mark, the top Reds want to see Martial working hard. Laugh out loud. That's from Red Baron. And Rashford's missed another chance. That was probably his hardest chance, to be fair. He's sort of running a bit wide. Is he onside? The ball by Martial's fantastic again. He is onside. It's a harder chance for Rashford. But he's nowhere near scoring it. So, 2 chances for Martial. He scored 1. 4 chances for Rashford. He scored none. 1 chance for Greenwood. He scored 1. So I think we've had about... I can count 8 chances we've had. 8 good chances we've had on goal. And they might have to change their goalkeeper here, which would be really good news for us. I'm drinking red wine. Donna Summer. You're a singer. Donna Seymour says, I feel confident. My feeling is we need to do it in the Premier League, says Noel Ryan, which is fair or good. The Suma dude's market value is €2 million, says Marcus. Suma is the number 21 for them. I really like him. What country is he from? I've never heard of him before. Got to repeat the formation, but instead of Mata, Pogba when he gets back, says Philippe. Take off McTominay, Rashford and Wan-Bissaka at half time, says Ayoub. And why can't they play like this in the games against better teams, Mark, says Paul Christopher. When you write a sentence and you answer it yourself. Because better teams won't let you play against them like this. This is not a very good team that we're playing against. So, we were dreadful in Belgrade and we still won 1-0. They're all... Partizan are rubbish. They're absolutely rubbish. And here's Martial. He's running through. He's on his own. He needs a pass to Mata. Oh. I think 2-0. It should be bloody 5-0 at half time. Ashley Young. Wide. Mark, I need... we We've had 12 shots. Who would you take off, McTominay or Fred? I'd like to take both off because I'd like them both to be fresh for Brighton. But I don't think we've got two midfielders. I mean, to be honest, you could bring Pereira on into the midfield. I mean, it's Partizan at the end of the day. Suma is from Guinea. Thank you very much for that. And Paul Robinson says Martial's hold-up play is better than anything we've got. Yeah, I really liked that Ollie acknowledged that in the press conference yesterday, Paul, because we've been talking about that on the United stand. And I've really, this season, especially in the first 3 games of the season, because we've only just got Martial back, his hold-up play is just something that I never expected. I mean, this is a lad who's been playing off the left wing, and we've put him up front, and his hold-up play and his distribution and his running and his selflessness have been absolutely superb. And here's Suma again, running at our back 4. If he switches this, it could be 2. It could be a goal for them. Oh, he's not done very well with that. We've got numbers back now. And he would have been offside there. Anyway, Zayn Mayasi, Mark, if Martial continues to play like this, someone will buy him. I think Arsenal and United will lose Martial and Aubameyang. Well, Zayn, the difference between us and you is that we've got Martial on a very long-term contract because he wanted to sign it, and Aubameyang and Lacazette don't want to sign for you, so they may well leave. Start to win and the smugness comes running back. If that was decent team, they'd pull one back, says Colin McDermott. I think to be honest with you, Partizan had loads of opportunities running at our back 4, and they're just very poor in the final third. And even again tonight, they've been poor in the final third. This should be a goal. Mata. Oh, Rashford again. He could have had 5 goals in the first half, Rashford. He's just not clinical, is he? I'm sure he will score tonight because he keeps getting in the right positions, but he is just not clinical. Wan-Bissaka with the cross. He'll go and score now. We're nearly at half time. McTominay puts it wide. There's so many goals in this game for United. Mata into Greenwood. Into Mata. Keeper does well. And the ref blows up for half-time. So, Manchester United 2-0 up at half-time. People queuing up to give Ollie a tap on the back. Clowns. Clowns. Only, I correct it. If they're there going, you're the right man for the job, you're a genius. Mark, what stream do you use, says Jack Bishop. I'm watching it on BT Sports 2. Is the opposition really poor, or does Mata make a difference, says Cobrock Ace? They're poor. Mark has a fetish for Martial, says 2007. Don't we all? Don't we all? He's just a joy to watch. Imagine if Martial was injured and you had Rashford up front. It'd be 0-0. Um... 2-0 at half-time. Let me just stop the clock. Please do subscribe to the channel if you're new. Bottom right-hand corner. It's relaxing. We feel relaxed for the first time in ages, don't we? It's actually a nice feeling. Manchester United are going to win this game. We're 2-0 up. We've seen 2 good goals. One for our hopefully future star of the future, Mason Greenwood, and an absolutely world-class goal by Martial. All right, maybe he's never in control of the ball fully, but he's certainly in control of putting them defenders on his arse and scoring a goal. Marcus Rashford's had 5 chances. I would say if Martial or Greenwood had those 5 chances, they'd have a hat-trick by now. He's got no goals. And I think Rashford's played well. But do you mark him down because of the chances he's missed? I think Rashford's played well. He's looked dangerous. He's definitely a talent, but he's just never going to be a finisher. And 2-0 flatters Partizan, to be honest with you. I think Partizan remind me of the game in Belgrade, as I said, where I think in their midfield and in their attack, it's been quite an equal game, but their defence is crap and our attack is quite good. So that's been the difference. It wouldn't have been a shock if we'd gone in at half-time 5-0 because their defence is so bad and our attack looks so good. Midfield-wise, it's been quite 50-50 and they've got out our back four, but they've not really created a shot on goal. And the quality of a Manchester United side against a Serbian pub side has shone through, and it should do. So I still stand by what I said. I think we've played too many first-team players for a game like this, and I hope it doesn't bounce back and hurt us against Brighton. But it might not if we take 2-0 and make it 6 or 7-0. That will give us a lot of confidence. And it is about potentially getting a bit of link-up play between Martial and Rashford. But Greenwood scored. I don't think Greenwood's been in the game as much as I would like him to be, but the way he took that goal, and it was the first goal as well, really steadied the ship. And yeah, it's not been it's a nice game to watch. It's nice. We are creating chances. That's a novelty for us. We're saying, how's he not finished that instead of when are we going to have a shot on goal? So look, you've got to take into account the opposition are poor. Especially defensively, they're poor and they're going to concede chances. But it's been okay to watch, and we've seen a couple of good goals. And I think we all knew that was going to happen. So yeah, you can't be negative. Does Young realise he's supposed to defend as part of his duties? Our left-hand side is completely exposed. A better team would have shagged us, says Nick P. And Jamie Hulse says, Mark, I work with a friend of Young's mum. She said Ashley's considering retiring after this season. Back of the net. Thanks, James. I was hoping for this half to get over because we all know what happens in the second half, says Nzeti Mendenka. And Danish Shasti says, stop being critical. Let's enjoy it for a change. Mate, can I have my say before you start talking to me about being critical? And actually, if you think anything I've just said there is critical, you're going to struggle in the real world, mate. Rashford is the only thing I've been critical about. And I think I said he's had a good game, but do you have to mark him down because of the chances that he's missed? Show me my critical nature, and I will tarnish it. Martial was 2015 Golden Boy. Don't forget his talent, says Joseph H. Well, I've always been a fan of Martial, and Martial has had a lot of criticism. We've played well. Williams on and Young off, says Aaron 10-6. Well, no, Young needs to play 90 minutes because he's suspended at the weekend, so he needs to play 90 minutes. I would get Garner on ASAP. Jose failed Martial, says 6782 Anthony. Freddie's running around like a headless chicken, says Say Das. That's going to divide opinions because Marky says I'm tired of the Fred agenda. How do you think Luke Shaw will perform in the squad now, or do you prefer Brandon Williams to Savage Black? Well, look, Luke Shaw, I like Luke Shaw. My issue with Luke Shaw is he injury prone? And I've always been critical of Phil Jones that, it doesn't matter how good he is, he's not reliable because of injury. And I'll always be consistent with that. I don't care how good a player is. If they're going to be injured, then they're used to us. So Luke Shaw needs to stay fit. And I think Luke Shaw's injury has been one of the weirdest of the lot because he's been out since Palace and he's not played since. That's a long time to be out. And that's forced us to play Ashley Young, which I think has cost us games at times. Fred's been the best player, says Joe William. If you could sign Maddison or Bruno, who would you sign and why, says Oliver Wilson. Bruno Fernandes for me. I think he will move from Porto and be one of the world's best midfielders. Update the scores, says Sabadi Asif. Mate, you're blind. Get down to Specsavers tomorrow. It's 2-0. And all we need is presence, blood, says Shamal Gosh. And you're Luke Shaw's brother. That's why you like him, says Kasongo. I prefer him over Ashley Young, mate. Oh, nearly dropped my wine. That would be disappointing. Jaston says, the team's playing well, but definitely a mistake in this team. And Martial deserves more credit, says Jonathan Gallagher. And imagine if we met Inter Milan in the knockout stage and Lukaku knocks us out, says Tommy Lim. Well, I wouldn't want to meet Inter Milan in the knockout stage. It's funny, actually, because I'm doing my FIFA career mode and I'm in February and I've got to the knockout stage of the Europa League, and guess who I've got? Inter Milan. So that's on Mark Goldbridge. That's football if you want to watch that. Fred has energy but can't play football. He's awful, says Dylan Sups. Oh, I just want to jump in here for Fred and say that if Fred had a bad half that half, then so did McTominay. McTominay gave the ball away just as much as Fred did, and McTominay got beaten just as much as Fred did. So if you're protecting McTominay because he's Mayo and he's from the youth system, you can't have it both ways. You can't say Fred's rubbish and McTominay's good. Like, they either both did okay in that half, they both did well in that half, or they both did bad in that half. Red wine's the best in my opinion, Charles. White wine I rarely drink, and rosé's just too sweet for me. I nearly said it's a woman's drink. Do you know when Shaw will be back, says Jordan Such? Well, he is my brother, I'll ask him. And Mark, do you think Haaland is linked to United because he fits the philosophy of this club, so United fans will feed into it, says Rafi Howard? I don't think we'll sign Haaland. I think we're going to sign Mandzukic. That's what I've been told. We're signing Mandzukic, who doesn't fit into the philosophy at all because he's 49. But I'd like to sign Haaland. I think it would show what we're all about. Kay Buckley says that McTominay loses the ball in tight angles. What I've noticed from McTominay in the last couple of games, Bournemouth and tonight, is he plays the ball forward a lot and loses it. And I applaud him for playing the ball forward, but he loses it. And I think, I almost feel like scrubbing Tactics Watch tonight, because I said Tactics Watch was basically, let's see when United get the ball in the midfield, how often they pass forwards and how often they pass sideways and how many touches they take on the ball. It's basically the Matic experiment. Like Matic, when he gets the ball, takes about 5 touches to pass it backwards or backwards or sideways. And throughout this season, I've been watching a lot of United games, and our midfield and our number 10, whether it's Lingard or Pereira, take loads of touches and then pass sideways. Tonight, you're playing such a bad side that I think we've passed the ball forward a lot more and we've created a lot of chances. So Tactics Watch does have relevance. We've created a lot of chances tonight because we've moved the ball quicker forward. Whether we can do that against Brighton it remains to be seen. What do we expect from Fred? Build-up or playmaker? He's asked to play deep, says Fitness Unscripted Sharath. You see that the Fred debate started now. And Mr. Beast says, let's be real, we should be winning this game by 4+, given that we are playing more than half of our first team. Loved Greenwood's goal, hoping for more. Yeah, and I think for once, I don't think we need to worry about the second half. I think second half will come out and get plenty of goals, if I'm absolutely honest with you, because I don't rate the opposition and I think they will tire. Please do subscribe to the channel if you're new. I'm going to give you a subscriber count update. We're on 577,750. So we're only 250 away from changing that counter to 578. So if you are new to the channel, please do subscribe, bottom right hand corner, and get involved with the community. We're always live. We've always got the live comments to interact with. We've got previews, fan cams, the lot. So get involved with the channel and have your say. Haaland has now scored 26 penalties in a row. He will fix the problem at United instantly, says Young V. Farman. I agree with you. That's a good point. Mark, have you heard of the rumours surrounding Ralf Rangnick coming in as Director of Football, says Mustafa. We spoke about this in the first hour before kickoff. So Rangnick has got connections with RB Leipzig. There is a story that Ed Woodward sent somebody over to talk with him. However, the story is worse than you think. I think Ralf Rangnick coming into Manchester United as a Director of Football would be brilliant for Manchester United, but that is not what the story is. The story is that we've been over to talk to him to pick his brain, because United don't want a Director of Football. They want the ideas. Instead of appointing the person, they've gone over there with a couple of post-it notes and wrote it down on the back of a stamp. Typical United. So I don't think we're appointing him. I think we've just gone over there to have a chat with him. Andrew 96, what are you? That's what I've just answered. Trading cards and more. Play the youth in the final 2 Europa games. Mark. Yes, but can you imagine playing the youth against AZ Alkmaar? I think they'll tear us a new one, to be honest. Mark, do you think United have a chance of going all the way in Europa? Says Pratik Sakar. Yes and no. I mean, blatant no because we're crap, but yes because the final last year was contested between Chelsea and Arsenal, Chelsea are good this season, but Chelsea last season were very poor, and Arsenal are very poor. They're very inconsistent. So if Chelsea and Arsenal are the best teams in the Europa League last year, and Spurs and Liverpool are the best teams in the Champions League last year, that shows you that English football is arguably the strongest league in Europe at the moment. So United and Arsenal not doing very well in the Premier League doesn't mean that they can't contest the Europa League. And from United's point of view, if we were to play Europa League final or semi-final now, we'd probably lose. But the knockout stage isn't until February, which is 4 months away. If we improve and we get Pogba back and we make a signing or two, we might win the Europa League. I say no because I've seen how we've played this season, but then I say yes, it's possible if we can find a way. If we can get back to playing how we did when Oli first came in, then we could win the Europa League. But we're in it, and we're going to be in the knockout stage. Problem with Haaland is his price tag on €100 million, but is he worth that much, as Kjeld Helsland? Look, I've said this before about Haaland. He plays for Salzburg, not Dortmund. When have Salzburg or the Austrian League ever sold a player for more than £50 million? It won't happen. Jordan Such says, the reality is Fred would be better off playing under Pep. It really is that simple. Yeah, well, it might be a coaching thing. And remember, Pep did quite like the look of him, didn't he? I don't wanna rock, DJ. Cause you're making me feel alright. Hello, Mata is in the team, Young is in the team, strongest team, says Stephen Owl. I'd say 70% of the team is our strongest team. Remember, Mark, Partizan is a team that normally will beat Brighton, says Kelsh Hulsland. Are they? Remember, Brighton are above us in the league. And Rashford is a poor finisher, says Jeffrey Jordan. Yeah, we've sort of we've stayed away from that, haven't we? To be honest with you, Rashford has had 5 good chances. I'd say 3 of them were straightforward, and he's scored none. Do you think we sign Emre Can, or is there a chance for Bruno Fernandes still? I don't think there's any chance for Bruno Fernandes. I think Emre Can could happen. Please subscribe if you're new, bottom right hand corner. Mark, United is the only team that has not conceded so far in the competition. I hope you don't jinx it, says Ted Williams. And Joshua McLean says, I'm waiting on Ashley Young to get booked for a £1,500 bet. I don't know how you managed to do that. There's always a chance with Ashley Young. There's always a chance. Mark is quicker than Matter, says Newmar. I'm quicker than Matter, sat on my arse. And I mean, Matter has helped us today because the opposition's so bad. But he hasn't got the strength or the physicality for high-end football anymore, has he? And would you take Jack Grealish, says Domingos? I think there's better players that United can go for, and I think he's unlucky not to be in the England squad, to be honest with you. We're coming out for the second half now. Please don't take my Solskjaer away, says Harold Dreyer. Don't worry, Manchester United have got no intention. I've been watching this for 3 years. The channel is my life when I'm not at work or with my girlfriend, says All Sports JS. Thanks, mate. Make sure you subscribe, everybody. Bottom right hand corner. It's a fantastic community that we have here. You're all very welcome. It's nice to have a little bit of light relief on a Thursday night, isn't it? Look, we're not reinventing the wheel here. This is not, this is not the start of anything new. We're playing a bad team, and I would treat it as any little positive we can take from it. Martial's our only world-class outfield player, says Dylan Supps. I think that that's a little bit unfair. I think that Pogba is a good player. He's just inconsistent. Anyway, we're up and running. Red, red wine, you love me so fine. Red, red wine, all of the time. Red, red wine, you got me so fine. Red, red wine, all of the time. All of the time. I'm trying to get everybody up for the second half. So how many are we going to get? I'm going to say 5. I think we're going to get 5. Get in the live comments. How many are we going to finish this game with? I think 5. I think if we replicate the amount of chances we had in the first half, we'll score at least 2 in this second half. So I'm going to go 5-0 to United. Akash. There's always a negative Nelly. You can't sing, mate. Do you think I really give a shit? Mark is secretly 50, says Elamont. A lot of people saying 3 and 4. Singing in the classes, music for your masses. Get no head, no backstage passes. That's a good line. Classic RW. 2-0 United, slow down in the second half, says Dipu. I disagree, Dipu. I disagree. I know we're normally bad in the second half, but I genuinely think this will be the exception. This game is an exception. You know, we've created loads of chances in the game already. We've probably created more chances in that first half than we've done all season collectively. So I think we'll have a good second half. I can see us getting 5 tonight. I want to lose to get Ollie out, says Gaz Elliott. Well, at least you're being honest. Brainiac says, please sing the first song. I don't know the lyrics. All I know is red, red wine. Red, red wine. See what happens to me when United are winning. I get all excited and happy. United win. Make Goldbridge happy. I'm fed up of being a moaner. Hanzak says, stop being happy, it ain't your style. Well, it's not United style, is it really? Oh, what's that? Aldi Christmas advert. Oh, they'll be all coming out soon, won't they? John Lewis and all that jazz. And all that jazz. You see, if United win, I'll be entertaining. Simple as that. Fred, that's a forward pass. It looked like it was a straight pass sideways, but it had an angle on it. It had an angle of about 10 degrees north, so it's slightly forward. Wan-Bissaka, Mata, forward pass. It's into Young. Rashford. Oh, he scored at last. Lovely goal by Rashford. A lovely goal by Manchester United as well. Rashford at last. He over-celebrates because he knows he should have scored more. I said he'd score in the second half. Cracking goal by Rashford. About bloody time as well. Sod the Aldi advert. Good goal by United. This is just really weird, isn't it? This is really weird. They are bad. It's like watching Prime City or Prime Liverpool, and when we know we're not this good, so they must be bad. But cracking goal by Rashford. At last he has his goal. Let me just change the scoreline as well. So 2 more and we've got the 5 I predicted. I said we needed to win by at least 3 with this team for it to be considered a success. And we have. Well, we are. Party. And what will happen now is their heads will drop even further to the ground. Oh, God, what's going on here? Is the live comment still there? And I think United have got a free kick on the edge of the box here, have they? Werner, Martial, Rashford front 3, says Jose Frias. Oh, you're dropping Dan James. And Mark, are you sure it's United winning or the red wine that's making you happy, says Hot Fuzz 44. Dylan Supp says Pogba's great, but his inconsistency means he isn't world class. People need to realise we are a better team without him. I love red wine. Having a glass with you, Mark. Cheers, pal. Hey, we're not a better team without Pogba, mate. What I liked the comment. I thought it was very, very good, especially the red wine thing. But we're not a better team without Pogba. Where's the evidence of that? I mean, look at what we've done without Pogba. Mata might score from here. It's a good free kick opportunity. And Ashley Young puts it into the side net. And I think Mata should have took that. Side netting from Young. Yeah, I mean, look at what's happened without Pogba. No, we're not that. Mark God, how good was the assist from Young? 8 out of 10, says Ali K. It was good. It was good. Yeah. It's very hard. It's very hard for... It's very hard to... Rashford again. It's very hard to gauge a United performance against a pub team. It really is. They're so bad. And I said this in PARTIZAN, and I said it before the game had kicked off. They're such a bad team. It was such a give me to play Chong and Garner and Williams and Phil Jones. You know, we should have played those players in this game. We've picked a team that's way too strong, and we'll only know whether it was worth it when we beat Brighton, because you know, get Lingard on as well. I mean, Lingard should have played Kartik as well. Yeah, we should have played Lingard and Williams and Garner and Chong and Jones and rested some first teamers. We've gone into this game ridiculously strong. It's a risk by Ollie to play players that are going to have to play on a Thursday, Sunday. But you know, I've enjoyed it, but it's hard to gauge when you're playing against a team that's so bad. Emre Can to replace Pogba, thoughts, says Jose Frias. Well, I think if Pogba goes, you need to bring a couple of players in. Young is back past FC, even his assist was one, says Dharmic Dave. It was a good assist. It was a good assist. Rebecca says we're going to get 7 goals. We could. I said 5. We do look like can score enough every assist. Time to mix the drink, Mark, and grab a Carling. Party on, says Michael Duffy. I'm only having the one glass of red wine tonight. I'm not... I don't like drinking a lot because I hate hangovers. I normally have 1 or 2, 3 max on a night out in the week. Just 1. I'm afraid Leicester's midfield sold as Maguire, says Charlie Welsh. Yeah, you've said that before. I don't really get what you're getting at there. Comfortable for United though. Amusing. Rashford looks so much better wide left, says Anthony Helm. And oh dear, is Harry Maguire injured there? No, I think he's alright. Mr. Goldbridge, your thoughts on Promise as our right back, says Abby Nartel. Well, I'm very happy with the right back that we've got. I'm Mexican. Do you all enjoy tequila like how we do, says Jose Frias. I don't think it's drank massively in this country, but we do like tequila. I tell you what, if we get an injury to Maguire, Rashford, Wan-Bissaka, McTominay or Fred, whatever the result is tonight, Ollie's a clown, because there was especially Maguire, there was no reason to pick Maguire tonight when you've got Phil Jones. 5-year contract we gave to Phil Jones, and we've not played him in the Carabao Cup or the Europa League. It's odd. Stuart Gowdy, no. I've been looking for one for ages, and the one I use doesn't do that. I still like Asoma, the number 20. I think he's a good player. But you can just see the difference in technique and ability. We're a better footballing side than them. And McTominay's going to get booked, I think, there for a foul on Sadiq. Fans always waiting for a game to win to have a go at Pogba. You are playing Partizan, says Jonathan. Take Harry off. A lot of people saying get Harry Maguire off now. Exactly. I'd start making subs now. 56 minutes, 3-0. They ain't never getting back in this game. Triple substitution. Young has too many yellow cards. He can't play against Brighton. That is the reason why Williams did not play today. He will play against Brighton. Says Xstol86. That's why I would have played Williams today, though. Good tackle there by Fred. That's what you want to see. And a forward pass. And he nearly got Martial in one-on-one. Get Lingard on, says Nog Ops THICC. Yeah, Wan-Bissaka's down at the moment. Yeah, he's not going to be injured off that. I think he was playing for a free kick. I really like the number 20. His final ball's atrocious, but he's just one of those players when he gets on the ball. I quite like him for them. Asoma. I think that's his name. Here's Greenwood. Oh, that's a foul off the ball there, ref. Should be a yellow card. Great performance, but Ollie made the same mistake last week. No reason not to rest players for today's game. Hope we don't pay for his mistake on Sunday, says Soprino. Yeah, I think the minute he picks this strong team tonight, it's all about Brighton then. Has he picked too many first teamers that are going to be tired on Sunday? Or will they be boosted and get more from winning the game? It's just a big thing, isn't it? Big risk. And we saw it against Chelsea, and we had a bigger... Well, no, Chelsea we played Wednesday night and played Saturday lunchtime. This time we're playing Thursday night and playing Sunday lunchtime. So it's the same gap again. Asano is the Japanese player, Philip Glover. I'm talking about the number 20, who I think is Asoma. Fred, good shot, just over the bar. Somebody just said Greenwood has been my mum, and I was like, how can Greenwood be your mum? And then I think he means man of the match. KSI or Logan Paul. I've seen that so many times tonight. KSI because he's from Britain. Simple as that. Substitution time. So I wanna know. Tosic is coming on. Used to be at Manchester United. Nice little return for him. We've got a corner here. If we score from a corner, we know Partizan really are terrible. And we don't. Mark, is Rojo underrated? Always seems solid, says TPM. Yeah, he always seems. Rojo always seems solid, doesn't he? Yeah, he's so solid. He didn't wander off to do his Tesco shopping against Liverpool and cost us a win. He's solid. He's so solid. He's so solid. He should be in so solid crew. He's so solid. I'm not a big fan of Rojo. I think he's an accident waiting to happen, to be honest with you. Partizan on the attack. Here's Rashford. I'm looking forward to doing the player ratings, because I'm not even going to lie. I'm going to give Rashford a good score. If Greenwood isn't your mum, you're no true fan, says Murray. Thank you, Murray. And where the FIFA career mode today, says Scott Parker. Mark Goldbridge, that's football from a FIFA career mode. If you want to know. And it would be great if Maguire was to score, says Adrian Patterson. I know, when we signed Maguire, I was so looking forward to him scoring a slab-head header from a corner, and we've not been near doing it once, have we? Hi Mark, where does Flex do the fan cams at Old Trafford? And on another note, Greenwood, Martial and Rashford should be our front three on Sunday, says 00100 Danielle. Well, see, everyone was saying that Dan James is our best player, and now people are saying drop him, and he actually has been rested, so Dan James needs to start on Sunday. Flex does the fan cams outside Hotel Football. Half an hour to go. Rather Greenwood on the right than James. He's better on the ball. James is just pace with occasional FIFA finesse. Can't link play, says Smith. We're so bad. Football fans, we're so bloody bad. We're so flip-flop. Dan James was getting loads of praise before the game. Greenwood, Rashford and Martial score. And Dan James is now just a pace merchant. Well, here's the sub we wanted to see. James Garner coming on. Bloody good about time. Great to see him coming on. Let's see who he comes on for. I think it's got to be McTominay or Fred with an eye on Sunday. See, that's a really good ball forward by McTominay there. That's that Carrick-esque ball I was talking about on Monday night. He has got that in his locker, and I wonder where he's learnt it from. Obviously, Michael Carrick. It's that smooth 30, 40-yard ball from the floor across from back to front. Saudi's not like FIFA on easy. Would be depressing, says Peter Boothroyd. And upbeat sarcastic. My Football Manager York City team could beat this lot, and they're made of pixels. Such a rubbish competition. It gets good at the knockout stage. So Fred's coming off for Ghana, which makes sense. Half an hour for Ghana to come on and impress himself then. And I think that makes a lot of sense anyway, because Ghana will know McTominay from the youth setup, so I think he'll be a lot more comfortable with him. John Sherrell, don't think we've read you out for ages, but an old school United stander. He says, all this Greeny thing, people are too reactionary. James put a ton of crosses which Rashi missed. Greeny has been missing the whole game. Fair point. Dan James has got to play at the weekend. Do I think Ollie's a top manager, says Adam. No. Never been a James fan, mate, so no flip-flops, says Smith Jones. Fair enough. But there's a lot of people I think are. So keep your eyes on number 37, James Garner. Let's see how he does. He's got quite a funny running style, Garner. Sana in the box. Sadiq. Good block by Garner there. Nice little introduction for him to get your first tackle in. Get your pace. Get into the pace of the game. Will that weaken United? Well, maybe it does, but it's important to get these lads involved in games like this. I would love to have seen Chong on the bench, and I would have chucked him on. I mean, look, who are we going to bring on for the last half an hour to play instead of Rashford, Greenwood or Martial? We've only really got Lingard and Dan James, and I think Chong coming on in a game like this would have been a real bonus. I can see Chong leaving United anyway, because we're not giving him game time, and I think he's out of contract at the end of the year. Sir Alex. He normally watches the United stand, so he's probably just put his phone in his pocket. Pereira's coming on now. You see, this is about game management now. Keeping people fit for the weekend, which I think is a good thing. Show me your pyjamas, says a new kind of love. I got a new kind of love for you. These pyjamas are banging. Imagine if I dropped them. I'm alright, I'm wearing pants. 65 minutes gone. Who do we think's going to come off for Pereira? I think it can't be Mata. I know he's a granddad, but come on, mate. You hardly ever play anyway. At least do 90 minutes. Then you can go and write about your vlog till Christmas. I would say Pereira needs to come on for McTominay. Yeah, that would be the best decision ever. Take McTominay off and bring Pereira on, and then you've given our midfield an hour. Good ball by Mata, that. No, that's crap by Young. Lampard better than Ollie, says Mitchell 0-0. What gives you that impression? What makes you think that? Are you mad? I'm being sarcastic there, by the way. I needless to say, I don't need to say anything else. Raz says, is Mata a granddad? Question mark. Whoosh. It's a foul on McTominay. Game's fizzled a little bit since 3-0. I think there was an opportunity. I agree with Rebecca. I think there was an opportunity to go and get 7 or 8 in this. So Pereira's coming on, and it's Rashford going off. So he's giving his pet a half an hour off. Rashi, come off, Rashi, and come and sit on my knee. You can come off. It's probably quite an intelligent substitution. I would have took McTominay off. That's why I'm being a bit sarcastic. I think what's more important, to take Rashford off, who could get a couple of goals and get a bit more confidence, or take bloody McTominay off, who never seems to stop. You see Ollie trying to do the cool handshake there, whereas Carrick just did the slap. Ollie and him tried to do that, and Ollie grabbed. I do it with Flex all the time. He does these handshakes that I'm shit at. I say just shake my hand in the traditional way. Don't start doing the flick and everything like that. I don't know what you're doing. And Ollie fell into that trap there. He just wanted to do a normal handshake, and Rashford started doing the side-to-side shit. He's not down with the ute, Ollie. He's like me. You know why I think people are turning against Maguire? I think it's because the way he runs, he looks like a bit of a donkey. But he's always done that. He did that for Leicester. He did it for England. And he's a good centre-back. I just think people need to give him a bit of time. That should work, says that Matt has been great. Oh, great. Let's give him another 10-year contract then. Matt has played well against a bunch of farmers. Brilliant. Yeah, we're going to win the league. Matt is done. We never should have kept Mata. He's done. If you want him to play in a charity game like this, he's still a good player. You know what? They should sign him up for that Masters tournament that they do on Sky Sports, where all the 40-year-olds go and play. That's what Mata would be good for. He's done at high-end football. He's done. And people will say, oh, you're being harsh, Mark. Well, I'm sorry. When you're a mid-table club that's performing like we are, you've got to be harsh if you want to get back to the best. And Mata is done at the highest level. I'm sorry. Surprised he's not brought Lingard on. Greenwood. What's he got? He's enjoyed himself tonight, Greenwood. Pereira into the box. Might go himself. Puts it out for a goal kick. Bit crap, that was. Rather get rid of Young than Mata, says Andreas Void. Hey, wouldn't we all? High five. Some young lad coming on for Partizan here. Well, he looks young. He could be 42. So they're taking off Asano, who I thought was very, very good for them across 2 games, but maybe he's just a bit tired now. Shimo Ghosh says, if we got Messi, would we win the league? No. United are not winning the league if they just got Messi. It's the midfield. That's where the problem is. Mickey's off to bed, says, will it be 5-0 when I wake up? You know what? I don't think we're going to... I think my 5 was probably a little bit optimistic now. We got that early goal in the second half, and I think we should have gone and got 5 or 6, but we seem to have dropped off a little bit now. It's a shame, really. The pedal's dropped, hasn't it? We're just going through the motions now. And I think we've got... And to be honest, I think it's because we've got an eye on Brighton. Ciprino says, Mark, you're Ollie in, but at the same time you don't believe he was successful at United, so what's the point of keeping him on? He is terrible on every aspect of the game, a yes man of the board. Well, we are winning 3-0. Ashley Young's got his yellow card, so whoever said at half time I'll get 1,500 quid if Ashley Young gets a half... I don't know how you got that bet, but you've won it. Well done. Let's have a look how we're doing for subscribers tonight. Sexy. Cool. It's a free kick for Partizan here. Can they get a consolation goal? Please do subscribe to the channel if you're new. We're only 100 subscribers away from 578,000 subscribers. Bottom right hand corner to subscribe, and if you have already subscribed, please do click the share button and share it on Twitter and Facebook. We're getting closer to 578,000 subscribers. Remember, we've got fan cams coming up after the game, match reaction, player ratings. Rangers are beating Porto 1-0 in an empty stadium, and Preview for Brighton tomorrow. Press reaction and reaction. Yeah, loads going on. Maguire's decision making under pressure is poor, says Upbeat Sarcastic. I think Maguire is going through a little bit of a difficult patch without being terrible. You know, players do go through that, and let's not forget he's coming into a team that's not performing well, and he's still a new player within that team. So I think you need to cut him a little bit of slack. But United have really dropped off a bit now, haven't they? I think. They know the game's won, and instead of being lethal and that, we've got an injury to a Partizan player now. Jesse Lingard's coming on. I suppose it means Dan James isn't coming off. Dan James will get a total rest tonight, which is a good thing. McTominay's hurt his leg a bit, but I think he'll be all right. I think if Ollie strikes me as being a lucky manager tonight. We've got the result. All his forwards have got a goal, and if he can come out without any injuries, then his risk, as long as we beat Brighton on Sunday, his risk of playing a very strong team tonight will have played off. But we've got to win. We've got to win on Sunday. I still think tonight's team was overboard for the opposition, but if we win it and we win on Sunday, then I think we'll be all right. But if we pick up any injuries, then that's a bit catastrophic, isn't it? But it's dropped off a lot. It has dropped off a bit in these last few minutes, I would agree. And now McTominay is down. This is a worry. This is a real worry. Well, I don't know what he does. I've jinxed it, haven't I, Wayne? I'm talking about our season in general, not this game, which is not fair to judge. Any Prem team can beat them, says Cipriano. I think that's a fair point, mate. I think that's a fair point. If we lose a player like McTominay, then the risk hasn't paid off, isn't it? Simple as that. But to me, it didn't look bad enough for him to have picked up an injury. I just think it looked a little bit like a little bit of a knock. We'll see. He's coming off for Lingard anyway. Come on, United, let's have another goal. Let's have another goal in it then. Lingard. Can he get an assist? Not with a cross like that. Bloody hell. That was shit, Lingard. That was absolute crap. He's got all the time in the world to put a cross in. And he puts a cross in like that. I think he looks alright, Scott McTominay. I don't think that looks like it's a bad injury. He's walking freely. He'll be alright. It's just a precaution. It's risky though, isn't it? It's risky if you pick up an injury in a game like this where he didn't need to play. That's always the risk. I mean, let's just hold that thought for a moment. If Scott McTominay was injured, we've got no Pogba. Who's your midfield too? We've got no Matic, Fred and Pereira. "76 minutes. Craig Warby says he's probably just knackered playing too many games. And Pavan's just woken up in Kuala Lumpur. It's 5:30 a.m. I can't wait to go to bed, Pavan. Not with you. I'm not trying to flirt. I'm just saying I just can't wait to go to bed. Knackered, really knackered this week. I went out. Well, I didn't go out. I went to my sister's on Saturday night, and I only stayed up till 1 o'clock. And then I think with the clocks, well, the clocks have been back for a couple of weeks, but it's really dark in the mornings, and it gets dark early now, and it's a little bit colder. I think it's just made me feel quite tired. Yeah. Also, I've been playing a lot of living room. I've been doing the living room cup. Been playing a lot of living room football. That takes it out of you. It's a hard life. Love the channel, Mark. Keep me going through extremely hard times. Thank you so much. Says Multi Thomas 888. Thank you, Multi Thomas 888. And Michael Duffy, did you go out in Balbriggan or Swords during your time in Dublin? And do you have any good memories from Copperface Jacks? Great watch along, Mark. Oh, Copperface Jacks. Is it still there, Michael? Is it still there? I've got loads of good memories from Copperface Jacks. Loads of good and some bad. Did some naughty things as well, but Copperface Jacks, loved it. That's the one on the street underneath, isn't it? In the cellar. Went out in Swords. Balbriggan doesn't. I know Balbriggan, but it doesn't ring true in the mind, if that makes sense. But it doesn't mean it didn't happen. It doesn't mean it didn't happen. So we've got about 12 minutes. Hey, we've got 12 minutes to. I'd tell you what. Have United broken their second half curse? Not really. Not really. I mean, 1 goal in the second half. I don't think it's enough against a team like this. It was a good goal by Rashford, but you should be at least get. I think we've got to at least get 4-0, haven't we? Got to at least get 4-0. But another clean sheet in the Europa League. I mean, look, I think Partizan could play till Christmas and not score. I don't think they've actually had a shot, have they? I mean, let's be honest, they're not very good. Here's Ashley Young. Go on, Youngie. Turn back the years. God, he's crap. Think about it. Martial's been very quiet this half, but again, people would say, oh, Martial's had a quiet half. I think he's just been... He's just not had the service second half. So you know, I think people need to understand that as a striker you thrive on service, and he hasn't really had that much second half compared to what he had in the first half. I think United have done what they're not. You know, I've got to say, if we don't get another goal, and they've got 10 minutes to do it, if we don't get another goal in this second half, we've done what we keep doing in second halves. We've been pretty poor second half, haven't we? Partizan, they'd love to get a goal. That would be like winning for them if they got a goal, but I very much doubt that they will. Let's have a look what people are saying in the live comments. We are winning 3-0 and Mark is still moaning since Prince Bruce. Yeah, thanks. I take that as a positive. Because if you want to be a winner in life, then you do what Sir Alex Ferguson... It really makes me laugh that people try and have a pop at me for being critical about things to try and get our club back to where it needs to be. I'm a Sir Alex Ferguson generation. I grew up literally as a kid watching Manchester United under Sir Alex Ferguson. My education in football was watching Sir Alex Ferguson Manchester United sides and watching Sir Alex Ferguson post-match interviews. So for all these modern fans who think I'm being negative, there are loads of fans out there who relate with me and know that Sir Alex Ferguson's way of managing was that even when you win, it's never good enough. We're Sir Alex Ferguson, we're the Sir Alex Ferguson generation. Like, we don't sit there after 3-0 against a pub team and go, yeah, we're back. We go, we need to improve on this, we need to improve on that. You know, we win a title and we want to win the next one. That's why we're moaning a lot. The Sir Alex Ferguson generation is moaning a lot because even when we won titles, it was like, next year we go again. That's just who we are. It's not being negative. So it always makes me laugh when we get people in the live comments trying to go, oh, look at Mark, Mr. Negative. And I'm like, why am I negative? Because the greatest manager there's ever been at Manchester United turned me into that. Because that's what he was like. It's never good enough. You go again and again and again. And at where United are at the moment, do you think Sir Alex Ferguson would come out after this game and go, yeah, I'm really happy? He'd be like, it's light relief, but look at where we are in the league. We've got a lot of work to do. That's what he would have done. I know him like the back of my hand because I grew up with him for every year that he was at United. That's who we are. That's just what we are. So you can take Mark's moaning even though we're winning, and you can shove it right up your arse because it doesn't come from me. It comes from this football club. That's how I was taught as a fan. So, you think you're having a pop at me. Oh, look at Mark on the negative stand being negative. No, look at Mark on the United stand being what this club has always been about because I'm educated in the way of Sir Alex Ferguson. You're clearly not. You clearly think that mid-table, mediocre football is something to celebrate. I'll celebrate tonight. There's been some positives in it, but it means nothing if we don't beat Brighton. The same as the Chelsea game last week when we went and lost to Bournemouth. This only means something if it's the catalyst, because they are so bad. And Shaft says, oh, you're so rude, Mark. No, I'm giving you a bloody lesson in Manchester United. If you don't know it, you might want to go and learn it, because there's no point supporting this club if you don't know what it's all about. Sorry, but I don't really apologise. If you don't know what this club's all about and you're going to be so rude as to criticise United fans for being negative about the situation we're in, then you don't know what the club is. Sorry. Facts. And you're going to irritate some United fans when you start saying that, because you just come across as being, you clearly don't understand what this football club is. If you think mid-table and beating Partizan Belgrade 3-0 means is something to shout and cheer about, it's a positive, but it means very little if we don't turn it into 3 points against Brighton. And I think that there are risk elements to the way we've played this game, because did we need to play all the players that we needed? Should we have kept some people back? I said the minimum we needed out of this game was a 3-0 win. We've got a 3-0 win. Ideally, I think we should have won by a lot more. If we come out of this game with no injuries and everybody's fit and raring to go on Sunday, then tonight's been a positive. But we've got to win on Sunday. That's all I'm saying. $84 minutes. Pitter says, remind them, Mark, they seem to forget, and keep it up. I'll never stop doing what I do. I'll never stop reading out both sides, though. If people want to say this is great and Ollie's at the wheel, I'll read it out so we can all have a laugh. But and if you see this as the start of something, maybe you've spotted something, and maybe it is going to be the start of something. And I really hope that we go on a massive run of winning every game for the next 4 months, and we go, remember, it all started with Partizan. I really hope that is the case, because all I want is United to get back to where they need to be. But I'd be an absolute dick. It would start growing on my forehead if I was sat here going, oh, we're back. We've beaten Partizan Belgrade. Apparently I was trending in Serbia before kickoff because I'd called them farmers. And I'm sorry. Get your carrots out, because I was right. and put your wellies on and get your bit of straw out your mouth, because you are a bunch of farmers, you're shit. I said that. I'm not being insulting to you. Manchester United should be blitzing them, and we did in the first half. They're not good. They're not good. This was an opportunity tonight that Ollie's used it for, to go and beat a side in a way that gives us some confidence. Rui Newman says, give us a song. All right. Ollie's at... No, not going to do that. I look an idiot if I do that. You're spot on. It should be 6-0 Mark, says Vivek. I just think if you're a Manchester United fan, it should be in your DNA that you always want more. If you win 6-0, it should have been 7. If you win the league, you should have won the treble. You know, that's what we are. This is what Roy Keane... And it's not just Sir Alex Ferguson. A lot of you will be too young to remember Roy Keane as well. He was the same. Like, Roy Keane would come out after a game if we got knocked out of the Champions League and go bloody mad. He'd say, you know, standards have dropped, even though we were 20 points clear in the league. You know, this is what it is. It's never enough. I remember being a United fan, right? And we only won the Champions League twice, 99 and 2008. So there was a lot of years where you got knocked out, but we won the title. This is how it was. This is what it was like to be a Manchester United fan, right? You'd get knocked out of the Champions League in the semi-final or the quarter-final. You'd win the league, but you'd be disappointed. You'd be gutted because it was like, oh, you know, even though you'd won the league, you'd be gutted and disappointed because you'd been knocked out of the Champions League because you wanted to win everything. And that would come from the manager and Roy Keane. They'd come out and say it's disappointing. Yeah, we've won the league, but we wanted to win the Champions League. That's how high our standards were. That's what we grew up as. That's what we are. So all these people who come on and say, "Oh, you're being negative," you can't change somebody's mentality as to what they think Manchester United is. Zero tolerance to mediocrity, says Fitness Unscripted Sharath Kamath. Yeah, I just think I think you're right. A lot of people are saying it's just a generational thing. Fans who've only known shitness probably think this is really good. This is great. It's like, you know, if I said to you Oasis are the best band in the world, you'd go, what you on about? It's bloody One Direction or something. I don't know. Whatever you youths listen to. Red Devil says, I love you, Mark, and DT is a prat in a hat. It's yesterday's news. Oh, cut back. No United player there. Film student has just absolutely exposed himself as an absolute clown. I've got to say it. He says, we won the Champions League 3 times, not twice. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear. I lived it, mate. We won the Champions League twice. We won the European Cup again in '68, but we won the Champions League twice. I don't agree with you on everything, but what you just said was right, says Michael Howarth. Well done, Michael. Finally, somebody speaking some sense. You're not meant to agree with everything I say. The great thing about this community and channel is that a lot of what I say, you will think you are an idiot. And every now and again, you'll think, I agree with him. And every now and again, you'll agree with everything. And some of you will agree with nothing. But it will get you thinking. The whole point of the United Stand is to be real, honest fan opinion. And your honest opinion is going to be different to mine, different to Paul's, different to Royal Pulse's, different to Ry K's, different to Rad McGann. Everybody's different is going to be opinion. But we're all united by Manchester United. We all want Manchester United to win. But we've all got different ideas about it. You know, some people will think, get Mandzukic. I think no. I think Werner. Some people will think no. You know, some people will want Maddison. Some people will want Bruno Fernandes. Somebody will want to give Mata a new contract or sign Fellaini back. That's opinion. It's diverse. It's all over the shop. But we're all united by the fact that we love the club. I love it. I love doing this channel because I love the debate. I actually love when people agree with me, but in a funny way, I like it even more when people don't, because it just generates conversation. This is real. You don't get this on Match of the Day or Sky or BT, MUTV. You don't, because it's all about, that's propaganda. That's all about pleasing, you know, everybody. And, you know, that's not football. That's not what I grew up with. Somebody just said Lingard's a disgrace. I don't know what he's done. Ian Barrows, you're a really rude person, aren't you? Off you go. We've been on autopilot for the second half again. Yeah. Alec Dukas, thanks, mate. We've got 3 minutes added on. I don't know whether this is a fair reflection of a bad United second half, to be honest. I think it's more it's more they've just gone down the gears in preparation for Brighton. Mark, this is what I needed for my birthday today, says Bryce Jones. Thank you. I'm glad they've given you a good result. I tell you what, I've never been so excited about my match reaction. I can't wait to do the player ratings, because I think I'm going to surprise a few of you in some of the scores I'm going to give, especially Rashford. I think you're going to go, what are you talking about, Mark? I thought you said you only had one glass of red wine. You had the whole bottle. But I'm really excited to do it. Match reaction. Have I set it up? Yep, links in the video description for that. Year ago, Mourinho on the pitch at Juve, he was funny as fuck, says the Owl. He was. So, 1 minute 42. 43. 44. I'll just cover it all in the match reaction. I was going to say a few things, but it's been an interesting game. I think there's been good and bad in it, hasn't there? The expectations of Manchester United. Have we learnt anything tonight? Probably not. But have we gained something? Well, we've gained 3 points. We're definitely going through in the group stage now, which I think is obviously very important. I think that where we are as a club is interesting, but I think it all comes down to Brighton. You know, you look at that league table, and where we are in the league at the moment is not acceptable. And 3 points against, I would have rather have lost tonight and beaten Brighton at the weekend. I think it's so important that we do beat them on Sunday. It's massively important. And Brighton are going to be a much better team than Partizan. Partizan have not created any chances though, but in some ways throughout the game, I think they've been decent on the ball. But we should have won this game. I think we should have won it 6 or 7-0. But having said that, I think Asano and Asoma for them have played quite well again. But there's just a massive difference in class, and it's shone through. And that's why Manchester United have won it. And I think we were always going to win this game. Always going to win it. And we have. And that's the final whistle. It's been done. So jump over to the match reaction. The link is in the video description. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, because we're trying to get to 578,000 subscribers tonight. Bit of a flat second half. And Kathy says she's feeling flat despite the win. Is Martial injured, says Mohamed Salim? No, he was on at the end. I think he's fine. It is full time. How does Lingard look knackered after 10 minutes, says W City? Well, he didn't do anything, did he? Maybe just running laps, I don't know. But Martial's having a word with Pereira there, telling him where he should be passing the ball and stuff. It was boring second half, to be honest with you. Link in the video description. Match reaction. Player ratings is going to be the best bit out of that. I'm going to give you player ratings, and also I'll give a manager rating. I think it's important to do that. But I think my Rashford player rating is going to surprise a lot of people. I'll be live on there in 60 seconds. I'll see you on there. The link's in the video description. Speak to you in a moment.